Crossover.
Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over. Nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Do I open this?
You got it.
Oh, what's up?
Hello.
We are back. We are here with Josh and John. This is our first time ever.
Yes.
I just met Josh 5 minutes ago. I'm not sure I've ever actually officially met you, John.
I don't think I've met you either.
But here
Welcome,
we are.
Nick.
Thank you.
Wow.
Hi, Nick. I'm Nick.
Nick!
What's up?
How's it
There's a
going,
lot of
guys?
Nicks in this building.
This
We're
is
taking
awesome.
over. I said this on our meeting the other day. It used to be there was a time where everybody in radio was a Josh or a Mike, and now Nicks are just kind of taking over.
Well, I'm not in radio anymore.
That's why you're on
We
radio
just fill
right
in.
now.
We just fill in now. So that's my big bit that I'm doing nowadays is that we are no longer in radio.
Do you miss it?
No.
What do you miss?
No? Okay.
I don't know.
There's got to be one thing
I mean,
you miss.
I will say this. I miss the
shirts?
the conversations. The shirts are great. You get a lot of free shirts.
I do love free
I got
shirts.
2 more free shirts today. It was great.
I got a shirt right now.
Nice.
I will say this. Like, I'm not going to miss going to games, like having to cover teams that lose.
Yeah.
Like that's my thing. Because you can still go as fans.
That's fair.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe
You're excited to have your Saturdays,
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
and do with them as you please.
yeah, like my Saturday next week is going to. I'm going to get up. I'm going to play a round of golf at like 7 a.m. and then I'm going to.
I
You're going
like
to get
it.
in a whole round of golf, or are you just
Probably.
playing 9?
No, I'll play 18.
Okay. Because
So-
the game's at 11.
Game is at 11, but I don't have
Okay.
anywhere to be up until 10:50.
I guess that's
Or, like,
true.
Have the option to go to a game without a
Exactly.
critical eye.
Yeah,
'Cause-
and there's probably a chance that I will go to the game.
Yeah.
Just because why not?
But
I
if
might
there's-
help
There's
out,
lots
save
of
this.
good seats available.
I
I've
might
heard.
save this the sellout streak, right? Because that's
Thank
a thing.
you.
That
Thank
would
you.
be funny if at the last minute there was like 2 tickets left and Nick got to be the guy that bought the last 2.
I feel like
And
they
then-
should
and then when they-
celebrate that.
And then when they announced
this
when they
week's
announced the
sellout
crowd,
fan of the week.
yes.
I think that'd be awesome. They get like you give them a better seat, or you give them a coupon for
Yeah.
runs.
Who
They get
who
the- they
saved
get
it this week?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they get like nice, reclining chairs, and they could set
Give
them
the
on
world-
top of the press box or something.
The World Herald kickoff kid, and so you could do the
sellout fan.
the Husker Extra sellout fan.
This is a great
It
idea.
really is.
Fantastic
Nebraska, I know you're listening right now. Here's a free
The
idea for you.
sellout
Do they
fan
listen?
of the game.
I would be stunned if they didn't. I would be stunned if there isn't somebody checking this out.
You-
So
you-
maybe they don't listen to the crossover. Even they know they don't talk about sports in the crossover.
Well,
No, we're kinda doing it right
surprise.
now.
See,
This
I
is
need to
where-
know
this
all
is
these
where-
details.
This is
Yeah.
where some of the best ideas come from.
Mm-hmm. Somebody texted in from the 531. Oh, that's new Omaha area code. Gross. May I have a shirt? Do you want this shirt?
Friends, I can assure you
A shirt, you.
that
Nice.
the shirt that is currently hanging up in our studio that is off camera will not be given away.
Nor will it ever go
nor-
on
We should put it
camera.
in a
nor
frame.
sold. We
It should be like shadow box it. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
that'd be really
should.
fun.
Yeah.
We still have many questions on who made this. Now they did talk about it on the morning show, so people do know. If you go and listen to the start of the show,
Oh, do they?
they were like,
No.
"There's a new decoration in here."
Yeah.
But they didn't talk about it seemingly like us three did during the commercial break.
I don't think we
Right.
should.
yeah.
No.
I still kind of feel slimy for talking
See,
about it the way we did.
No,
during
I
the
did
break.
notice by turning it around, it's got the whole schedule on the back, and Purdue is spelled like Will Purdue.
Yep.
Not Purdue University.
Now,
Mhm.
my question would be, if we did frame it, how would we decide which part to be the facing part, or would we have to cut it in half and frame both?
I love that idea.
Excellent
2
question.
frames.
Yeah. Or you have a giant frame, and so half of the shirt is on one side and half of the shirt is on the other side.
It's like butterfly wings.
By the way, Nick, we just got a text from Greg in Michigan. May I have a bonus duck trip entry?
No.
Are we giving any away this week?
That's on the morning show this
Oh,
week.
okay, bummer.
No. We gave one away.
Yeah, it was on. the
Yeah, come
middays.
on.
It's a
Oh.
midday show.
Come on,
Yeah.
Nick.
Jeez, Nick.
Come on, Nick.
I was told I thought it was the other show.
Phil and Nick knows more about what's going on here than
It's a tough look.
permanent
true.
Nick.
It's a tough
yeah.
look.
We gave away one. Greg in Michigan. We had this quest today, guys. I was
Oh.
trying to break the record of callers into middays
How'd that
with
go?
Matt. It started off really strong, but then we had a couple of guests that took up a couple of segments. So then we kind of got off of it. And then, by that time I was like, well, we're not going to put, I don't know. Josh never told me the number. He said at one point, like 12:15, I asked him if we were on pace, and he said we were very comfortably on pace. So it means we were ahead of pace at that time. But I don't know. You guys know Matt way better than I do. I just
Yeah.
wanted to find something that would trigger him, and I felt like the
Most
breaking
callers.
breaking the number of callers into a fill-in show would have triggered
Especially
him
with
on
no
Monday.
game to talk about
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
week.
because I was going to say he will
that's
break the
good.
record at some point this year. Nebraska will lose on Saturday, and there will be a lot of callers on Monday.
Yeah.
Like he'll break the record at some point. Maybe
Yeah.
an audio tape will come out, then he'll really break the record.
Yeah.
By the way, Sam. So I think this is in response, Nick, to you leaving radio. Sam tweets at the whole show and says, "You guys better never leave radio. We're not allowed."
Oh, you
Oh.
too? Yeah, you guys
and-
never
and-
leave.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole show.
All
Yeah.
right,
Oh
well,
yeah,
this is
yeah, and permanent Nick.
By the way, if there,
Even
was
Nick.
if there was a Matt Rule audio tape,
Yeah.
Why would it be on a tape?
It would actually be put out by the university, wouldn't it? Because now they own his
NIL rights.
his intellectual property.
Yeah, they paid him $5 million for that stuff.
Yeah,
That's
So it's-
crazy.
that would be funny if the
That's
university
crazy.
itself leaked.
Yeah,
Of course, the
it's
last
on
leak.
Huskers.com.
Of course, the first leak was also kind of an inside joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna play football.
Yeah,
That's the one I always think about is Ted Carter. But anyway,
I've
that's
heard-
just maybe show my age.
what was that? Which one was this?
It was
Oh,
it was when we were playing. It was COVID, and it was,
Was he
Ted
at, like,
Carter on the mic, like at some event.
That's what it was.
and he was talking to
Oh,
some
yeah.
political guy, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna play football."
Yeah, that's
Was
right.
that in like August?
I think
September?
so. Because then they like I remember they scrambled, and it was like, "We
No.
gotta make this announcement."
Because
Like,
that was
no, Ted, you've gone rogue again.
that was not long after Ronnie Green went on with Jack, and he said, "Might this topic be revisited?" I don't know. And that was about them coming back and playing
Yeah,
football.
That's
So,
right.
I don't know.
Nebraska loves leaking.
Yeah, Ted Carter's in his own issues right now. Well, he was. I don't know if he is anymore.
Yeah, I don't know
Oh,
what's
that's
going on.
right. He had that deal at Ohio.
He had the
State.
inappropriate relationship at Ohio
Yeah.
State. Nothing that bad.
Well, it was just the idea that she was a.
Employee, right?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Well, no. It was like a
Allegedly.
contract deal.
Yeah,
Where
he tried to
she
get her a
worked-
job or something.
Yeah, yeah, and
Mm.
he worked to get her a job.
Yeah, here's this. Yeah,
And
record
it was
show
in
Ted.
Ohio too.
Yeah, record show Ted Carter tried to get
Mm.
podcaster a Nebraska job during his tenure.
Did it happen at a trailer park?
Great question. By the way, the record for phone calls, Josh Hudson is texting me. It was 7. You had 5. He said 12:15. We were cruising, never got back
Damn
to it.
it.
Plenty of time though.
We had plenty of time to get 3. Bill was supposed to call in. He wanted to call in and say 3 separate things. And he goes, Nick, we'll let you have the choice. I can call in and say one thing now, call in 2 more times and say the other 2 things.
Wow.
And he said, just because I want to trigger Matt. And he said, or I can say all 3 now. And I didn't know what the number was. And I said, let's just spread it out. Bill never called back in.
Did Matt ever respond to any of your notifications of him, like trying to trigger him? Has he acknowledged you today?
No, well, he has not. He has not texted me once. And he has not. I found out today he does not follow me on Twitter either.
Oh,
and
I just
so-
gave you a follow
Oh,
myself.
thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So
Looking out.
I will follow back in a
Look at
moment.
that.
But
Look at
either
that.
way, I mean, that's normally what people do when they meet each other and they know each other is they
Yep.
stay
Yeah.
connected through the social medias.
Definitely.
But Matt is a guy I would imagine is probably worried about his ratio and wants to
Yeah.
preserve the following to followers.
Do we
and
think that's true with McMaster? How many people does he follow? 404. Not a crazy number. I've seen way worse than that. John, I think you follow, 700-800 people?
I don't know.
680. A lot of people.
Why is that bad?
No, I'm just saying it's a lot. On my timeline, I feel like it'd be a mess. I just don't
Well,
want to follow.
He goes
people.
to the For You tab. He doesn't even look
Oh,
at the
that's
people he's
true.
following.
Yeah,
I
that's
look
a
at both, my friends.
Yeah.
I look at both.
That's a good point.
Oh,
But
I
I also-
follow way too many.
Oh
I
wow,
also-
I follow 658. Never mind, John.
I
What are you
don't
saying?
know.
I'm
what-
at 1558.
am I?
Oh
am
my
I?
gosh, Nick, that is disgusting.
I need to
Well,
clear
but
that out.
he's got to follow every tire changer in Formula
Yeah,
One.
Nick, you got to do some culling.
I guess I
Sven-
can't talk.
What do you
Sven
follow?
Svensson is the,
Well, the thing is, I'll
left
get-
rear changer for
I'll get
Lewis
interested in
Hamilton.
something and I'll follow everything related to it, and then I lose interest in it, but I don't unfollow those people, so I forget about it until they pop up again on my timeline.
I'm at 298.
Wow, you care about that ratio.
I
don't
guess
you?
I
You're
do.
like, ooh, this looks so nice.
I guess I do. Yep, because I just have
Well, what's the problem?
countless amounts of followers.
What does the social media Illuminati say is a proper ratio?
It's a good question. I have no idea.
I've
I've never heard of it called that anyway.
I've always
Ratio.
heard you
the
wanted,
ratio.
The ratio. I always thought the ratio was more comments on a tweet than likes.
I always made fun of Sipple. Oh, sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
No, you're
Say
good.
what
I
you
was just
were
saying, I've always thought that you wanted your following to be lower than your followers.
Sure.
I always thought that was the ratio people were aiming for.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
Because
think
it means you're popular.
I think
Then you're
to some
exclusive.
extent. I don't know. I always made fun of Sipple because we like searched it. One of the times there was like an algorithm, a thing you could put the followers
Is this
in
about,
to
like,
find
buying?
out bots and buying.
Does he have a lot of them?
I don't know. Sip. There was a moment where Sip there was like 15,000 that were just bots.
Yikes.
And he has like 80-some thousand, or he did. I don't know how many he has
Not
now.
to speak ill of your former employer, but
No.
I do remember a very
Hey.
famous story about one of the employees at that station who apparently was buying up followers left and right.
Is that Happer?
No.
embarrassing.
Then this guy went and he moved and went and did radio in another market, and then he went out to California to become an actor. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I think.
Yeah, Mr.
think so.
Jeans. Yeah.
Mike Thompson.
You got one of the names right.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. I was not there at that time.
Oh, see, I figured it was before you.
Yeah, I was not there
can
when
be
he
the-
was there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
So
don't know who you're
You don't
talking
know who you're talking
But
about.
was he
right.
ever in a T-Mobile commercial?
I don't think so. I don't know if he was ever in a
I-
movie or anything.
I'm not entirely sure like where I would go to buy followers.
Probably the internet.
Yeah, you probably Google buy Twitter followers
Yeah,
now,
you should try it right now.
or buy X followers.
I'm buying Twitter followers right
I
now.
bet you can get a good deal at Costco.
You think so?
Is
Get
it
one of
like
those
the
little-
play-
They're
the
right
big-
next. They're right next to the Husker
pizza?
tickets.
Did you guys see? It's all
Hey, you can get a meal voucher out here.
Thus, you can buy followers and become the sellout fan of the game all
Man.
in one trip to the store.
It's those giant cardboard printouts that are just hang on there that you're just you always feel
exactly.
so weird taking that flight voucher
Yeah,
credit up to the
it's so
register.
weird.
I bought
It's so
something. I
weird.
bought some headphones there recently, and that's what we did. We had to find the little thing, and we were like, "Hey, so here we go." And they're like, "All right, we'll be right back." And then
Which-
they wandered on into the back.
is interesting to me because we were just in Costco this last weekend, and they have full ass pre-built gaming PCs that you can just pick off the shelf.
Really?
Yeah, they're just in a box.
Wow, these headphones were like $60 too. That's crazy.
These PCs are like 3,000.
Wow. Maybe it's harder to steal a PC than it is.
Yeah,
Well,
I guess
yeah,
you
well,
never
you
stuff
got to
that in your
stuff a
pants.
PC into your shorts.
Well, I was say you have
I'm not- I
those.
can't
I
answer
mean, I
that question,
realize you
John.
have plenty of room there, but
you have those intense receipt checkers standing by the door that are usually the average age of about 60.
Yeah.
No,
They'll
that might
stop
be on
you.
the low side.
They'll stop you
That
from
might
the.
be on the low side.
Dude, find somebody with more power than a Costco receipt checker and a highlighter.
No, I used to always think I don't
Walmart tried to
understand.
mimic it.
I
They
don't
can't do
understand
it.
what they're doing, and then I realized, oh, they do the marking, so if you return it, they know that you actually bought it or something. Is that the goal?
Oh.
I
well,
think
why don't they
that's.
do that at other stores?
I don't know.
I mean,
That's a great.
I realize
Well,
that-
because their
I-
return policy is pretty awesome. You can remember we had that nasty beer from them,
That's
and
right.
we had 3 or 4 beers, and I returned the whole case,
You-
and they gave me money back.
You can't actually do that anymore. We had a bunch of beer left over from our wedding, and they're like, no alcohol. So we're still.
Oh, so just without.
Is that
Oh,
Costco?
crap, I forgot
Yes.
to bring beer today. I'm sorry, guys.
Nick? Unreal.
I will run to
Right.
CVS when we're doing a guest hit, and I can get some beer. I
Wow.
apologize. I just had that realization.
This is.
You guys
I
usually
almost-
drink beer on Fridays?
One beer Friday.
It's
Nice.
One Beer Friday.
Nick, I almost
This is bad.
sent a message to the group
know.
chat, but I didn't want to get lectured by Nick.
I was
for
going to
reminding
bring a
him.
case of wedding beer because it's just a bunch of Coors Light. We like Coors Light.
This is very sad.
Unbelievable. Well,
I'm sorry.
got Gary Dolphin in 40 minutes.
Yep. You're gonna have
You
to
know what?
disappear.
That's the punishment.
There's a segment at 3:50 today.
Just
head over. You know what? I'll head over during.
That would be funny.
Well,
Hodson says
wasn't the
maybe you
first
need a
one beer-
backseat producer. Yeah, Nick, maybe we need to be reminding you things.
Wasn't the
I
first
never-
One Beer Friday? Didn't I?
Yeah, it was
one
at
of us went
CVS.
over there.
I went over because I remember I bought Paps down the street here.
Uh-huh.
There's a
I'd seen
And
that.
it
difference
was
between
during a recorded bit.
there's a difference
Oh, might have
between reminding somebody who has a terrible memory and backseat producing. Those are two very different things.
Interesting.
Either way. All right.
Awesome.
I got to get back to Lincoln, guys. I got to be
Wow.
honest
Yeah,
with
we
you.
have a guess at 250.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry about
Interstate's
this.
clear, so you're good. As far as I know.
I
Truck
hate to
barn's
do
still
this.
there. Signs are still up.
I'm
Looks
sure,
great.
I don't know. Maybe there's another day I fill in. I don't really know what the deal is.
All right.
I got out of it. This is my 5th time filling in the first
I was
month and
gonna
a
say
half.
you've been on our station a ton lately.
Yeah, those guys in the morning take a lot of time
They
off.
do-
Yeah.
They're doing weird. Just take a week like a normal adult.
Yeah.
They're like doing
Instead, it's
2
like,
days and
I'm
3
gonna-
days
I'm
at a
gonna pick
time.
a random Tuesday in the middle of the week.
Guys, just take a week. It's
Yeah.
okay. And then Matt does a random Friday. People, they need to be more definitive with their vacations. Anyway, you
No.
feel free to head out.
Thank
I
you, Nick.
appreciate you guys.
See you, Nick.
Nice to
Yeah.
meet you.
All right. We'll be
Nice to
back.
meet you.
The Grum begins on a One Beer Friday. Well, without beer for the moment.
Yikes.
16:20 the zone.
They're wood-fired grills built for moments like this. You get more heat, consistent temperature control, and more stainless.
KOZN. Unsportsmanlike conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO. Don't miss a moment, they'll give you your fix. They're on every day from 2 until 6. Spend your afternoons with John, Josh, and Nick. John, Josh, and Nick. They'll show you what sports talk really is.
Nick's having a moment today.
It's fine.
I've had a week. I'm going to be honest.
You have had a week.
Yeah, yesterday
It
was
all
a struggle.
started last week when you picked that movie.
Is that what it was? Nick, did you watch the movie last
I
night?
did.
Nice. Nice.
Surprised you got through it.
Sportsmanlike conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO.
Welcome to a Friday Grum. Welcome to Red Out Week +2. Brought to you by Union Bank and Trust, who also sponsors this program.
Shout out to UBT.
Shout out to UBT.
We're big
Who
fans.
Who gets Red Out Week +2.
Do you know, John, at UBT, people don't have your money has people?
Member FDIC. Yes,
Bingo.
I do. I am
Bingo.
aware of it all.
Dude, the countdown for me is on. And I know you're saying,
Countdown to
well,
what?
yeah, well, I'm
Wait a
happy
minute.
you
I thought,
asked.
whoa.
Happy
I
you
thought
asked.
yesterday it was over. I thought yesterday you were celebrating the football.
Hey, you should have let me finish my sentence, John. First of all, I did celebrate the football. I was watching in bed before I went to sleep. I saw the end of that game where the guy had a great catch. It was really cool, and then it went into overtime.
Where
Do
the
I know the
guy
names
had
of
the great
anybody?
catch.
No, they're a D2 team. Do I know
you
their
didn't
names?
know
No.
who was playing?
I barely can remember. I was pretty sleepy last night. What am I counting down to, you ask?
Yes.
Our remote at Oscars and delicious wings. You always make fun of me for planning out my meals. I cannot wait to have wings. Wings from Oscars.
That'll be next Thursday.
Onion ring. Actually, this Thursday. Next Thursday is when your Rams play the 49ers. This Thursday is the first Thursday that is ahead.
No, this Thursday, the week
This
that
Thursday
you're in,
is the upcoming Thursday.
No. The week that you're in is this.
So you're saying yesterday is this Thursday?
Well, you don't even use the this isn't necessary.
So maybe you should just say Thursday.
Well, yeah.
Because next Thursday, for me, always implies the following Thursday when your Rams are in Australia against the 49ers, the substation 49ers.
Yeah, see, I always go next Thursday refers to the Thursday of the following week.
Mm.
But yes, this is kind of like we used to have a deal.
A zone deal?
No, but a professor of mine always used to say it is redundant to say new record.
Yes, yeah. Obviously, it's new. It's a record.
Because you just set the record. It's a record. Now,
why would it be new?
I disagree.
Oh, really?
Because only in the immediacy when somebody sets a record, it's like, hey, just set a new record.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically, yes, it's correct. But I think the same principle can apply to the use of this and next. If it's Tuesday and you're saying the Rams are playing the 49ers on Thursday, well, that's 2 days from now.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's next Thursday,
it's the following week.
It's the following week.
Yeah. So we agree on the next, and yet,
well, no, I just think we should probably get rid of the this and the next.
Oh,
unless we're actually referring to
the following week.
The following week.
Wow, Baymont says this was once a dumb debates topic, wasn't it? Somebody
else. I don't remember.
know.
This.
Somebody texted us as well, and Sean says it's not Wednesday. Dumb debates is that day.
This
is a pretty good dumb debates question.
It is,
and too bad young Nick can't participate because he is going to the store to buy us a 6-pack of nice cold beer. I hope it's nice. I hope it's cold. It'll definitely be beer.
I was fully expecting he was going to bring some Weeb beer.
Yeah, that would be like our.
It'd be very like him, but I doubt they sell that at
at the CVS.
At CVS,
he'd have to go to a liquor store for that kind of stuff. I'm guessing.
Yes, he would. That'd be something though if the CVS has started selling Japanese beer. I'm trying to remember if I had a Japanese. I'm sure I have.
I definitely have. I don't.
What's like the Budweiser of Japanese beer? Isn't it like? Is it Sapporo?
Biggest Japanese beer.
Is Sapporo a Japanese beer?
Let's see. Yes, it is. They were established in 1876. Asahi, Kirin, and Suntory. I don't know any of these breweries.
I think I've had a Sapporo.
All right. Well, maybe I think I have as well.
I think.
All right. Maybe next time.
Yes, Chris, I am going to have my neck crook.
Yeah, I don't know why I
Cubs
turned this on. I just made a huge mistake for the show, didn't I?
No, it's not a big mistake.
Okay.
I just occasionally like to look up and see what's happening.
Yeah. Chris is coming after you today.
Sadly,
he said you can always use the John Bishop excuse and just work from home when you want to take a vacation for a day. Quite interesting, John. What do you think about that?
Well, that wouldn't be a vacation. That would be working.
You
from
were
home.
working the other day. You did do the show.
I did the show.
Yeah, you were on.
I did the show. I did all the stuff.
Working from home for you does two things. It's either A, avoiding a treacherous drive, or B, you are busy and you save the hour and 15 minutes that you would be in your car.
Or 2.5 hours because there's a return.
I can't believe you're still doing this. 14 years later, I cannot believe it.
Yeah. Red Out Week, Grum Down.
Nice.
Presented by Union Bank and Trust. Here comes the judge. Sadly, not Aaron.
Yeah, what's up with Aaron Judge? I thought he was going to be back soon.
Maybe that's why all of these judges are ruling in NCAA cases. It's like, well, Aaron Judge isn't around. Some judge has to be working today. And they have been busy.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska volleyball makes bank.
Did you watch any of it?
I flipped over to check what the score was, and it was the other match, the non-Nebraska match. And then later, as I was watching Ty Simpson being great, I checked in on the Nebraska match, and they were winning. I'm like, oh, well, this is over.
Yeah. Well, it was. It was very fast.
And then I was
very
like,
fast.
see, I don't get excited for non-games that don't count.
And yet, what did you switch over from?
Well, again, I was only
fascinating.
I only watched a couple of drives.
Fascinating.
That's all I watched.
Okay.
I didn't watch the whole game.
Did he start the whole game? Or did he play the whole game?
No, he played the first half.
Is he going to be second string, or are they still going with Stetson?
It is up in the air.
Interesting.
It's close. It's very close right now.
Nice.
25 teams. Gary Dolphin will join us. That must mean only one thing, the Iowa Hawkeyes.
So we're talking to him at the end of 25 teams and 25 grums.
Yep.
And we will talk to him at the end of the season.
That is correct.
We talk to Gary twice every year. I guess sometimes during basketball season, but it's usually a twice a year thing.
Yeah.
Preseason and in season.
Kent's movie club today is Seven Samurai.
Ooh, awesome. I can't wait to discuss.
The segment will not go nearly as long as the movie did.
Well, I hope not. Then we'd be
The show barely goes longer than the movie.
If we have the amount of time the movie takes, that is how much show we have left today.
Yes.
3.5 hours.
So if you start Seven Samurai right now, you can catch us at the end.
Awesome.
Super Friends Roundtable with Jack Mitchell will be in the happy hour.
Awesome. The last time.
Well, yeah, until something comes up and then he's got to
That's
change
true.
it.
Yeah. I'm excited to move him back to 250.
Tonight we have the Battle of Millard and a shrinking in-state pool.
Shrinking in state. Is this more about how football doesn't have any players anymore?
No, no.
Is this about the transfers?
No, this is what Mitch Sherman researched earlier this week.
Oh, that was quite
See
interesting.
that? Yeah.
Quite interesting.
Maybe the Raiders should have drafted
Okay,
Simpson.
you have a topic here about Ty Simpson. What is happening? What is it? You put a bullet on here. Now we have to talk about it today.
Well, no, we just have extra time today to kind of recap a little NFL stuff because Mitch Holtis is recorded.
That's true. It will be a little shorter. Ooh, we can talk some NFL. That sounds great.
Predictions.
Awesome.
One Beer Friday.
Awesome.
It's all here. And we will be joined by a special guest in the happy hour to help preview the Aer Lingus Classic.
Steve writes, I thought since Tim Curry's death, you would make an audible and watch the movie Clue. We have watched that, right?
Clue?
We did
No.
do. We haven't? I could have sworn that we watched Clue for the movie club.
If you did, it was when I was gone.
Because Riss said the same thing to me. She said, "Hey, are you going to watch something? Because it's my pick. She knows that it's my pick. She was like, "Are you going to watch anything in honor?" Okay, I've reviewed this film.
Oh yes,
I was going to say
you did. The
March
listeners,
14th, 2024.
I was gone. It was
that was
Big
March
East tournament.
Madness. Yeah,
Big East tournament or March Madness.
Okay.
So yes, the
I
listeners
gave it
did
3.5
pick
stars.
Clue.
Okay, I was going to say I thought that we did that before.
I have not seen Clue.
You never have. Wow, that's crazy. 41 years old. Putt says Home Alone 2. Oh, that'd be fun to watch a Christmas movie in August. How would you feel about that? John barely liked Home Alone 1, which was so disappointing.
No,
Unreal.
it was okay.
That's crazy. It's a classic.
Eh,
That's a classic.
eh.
We're not going to watch. Sorry, we're not going to watch it now. It's August. I don't hate the idea. Maybe we do that this year for Christmas time.
I'm sure. I mean,
Bum, 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 bum,
he was
bum,
also
bum,
in a
bum.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, I've never seen that movie.
Neither have I.
Yeah, but he's funny. He's really funny in Home Alone 2.
I mean, Tim Curry did more things than just a couple of
I
movies.
thought today, I was like, what if I picked It? But it was a mini series. And so I can't
Oh.
really. The one that he was in
Was it?
not the one with Skarsgård. Yeah. I've never seen the It that he was in. I've never seen that one.
It happens.
Mm.
402-951-1620. That's the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You can also text us there as well. Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed is at USC 1620.
I don't know where any of Nick's drops are. I
Yeah,
found the
it's
close
very
one.
lost. Very lost.
Yeah.
And then the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
I found it.
Equitable Bank.
Here we go.
Take banking personally. Answer the phone on the first ring. EquitableOnline.com.
Awesome.
You were mentioning the thrilling finish last night. Apparently, there were a lot of upsets
Yeah.
in the non-FBS football. Like 3 Division II schools upset FCS schools yesterday,
Mhm.
including the game you were talking about, the Ohio Dominican Republic.
That was awesome. It was. Have you seen the play?
I
Have you
did.
seen? Okay,
I did
that
see the
was a
play.
legitimately great play by the.
I did see the play.
by the receiver. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, look at this. All
South
these games.
Dakota Mines upset Drake.
Suck on that, Drake, Missouri Valley, I think.
SP Plus, South Dakota Mines was 40-point underdog, according to
Whoa.
Bill Conley's SP Plus. You know, because how he
Whoa.
ranks every single team in the world that
Yeah.
plays football. According to his numbers, Drake should have been a 40-point favorite against South Dakota Mines, and they lost.
Mm-hmm.
In the game you were referring to, Morehead State was a 3-touchdown favorite.
Yeah.
West Florida upset Southern Illinois. Take that, Egyptian dogs. They were a 20-point underdog. Louisiana Christian, who is an NAIA school, was a 2-touchdown dog to Northwestern State, won outright. And thank God Nebraska didn't have them scheduled this year because the Fighting Pharmacies of Houston Christian.
Yeah, how'd they do?
They were a 24.5-point SP plus underdog, and they upset Southeast Louisiana.
Wow.
So thank God Nebraska did not have them scheduled.
Now, John, does this give you any pause for concern when you start thinking about the Ohio game? Because famously, Nebraska is a 23.5 favorite. And so if it can happen at the lower level, why can't it happen at the highest level of college football?
Happen. It can happen.
It could happen.
See, now you got me.
We should watch Angels in the Outfield for Movie Club. That's what that's from. It could happen. You ever seen Angels in the Outfield?
No, I told
Joseph
you.
Gordon-Levitt?
I told you, because isn't that the one with where Tony Danza plays another character?
He
named
doesn't.
Tony?
He plays a character named Mel
Yeah.
Clark.
Yeah.
I swear to God. Nebraska's still 23.5-point favorite.
Yeah, but I guarantee you they still call him that. They still
It's
call
only
him Tony.
47.5. That seems low.
But if you were doing any advanced scouting last night, Nick and
he's not Nick.
I know.
What do you need?
Well, I was
you want the video? Do you
there
know
was
the
a highlight.
video? Do you know how to turn it's on the board?
Which
one is it? I don't know.
It is.
Wow.
I think
All right. Here, you want to do a test real fast?
Let's see. This happened yesterday.
Okay.
In this day and age in FCS football, that's hard to find, and I think North Dakota feels really good about the guys they've got up front.
Flea flicker here. Kaminsky with time. Takes the shot into double coverage. What a catch!
That was nice.
Yeah. First off, North Dakota running a flea flicker up 36-0.
Yeah, that's kind of mean.
But
That's like the end of Rudy when they want to get Rudy on the field. Was there a Rudy on that team? Maybe?
I don't know, but that was Sam Strandell.
Oh man, I love that guy.
Who is one of UND's top returning receivers? But yeah, they ran the flea flicker up 36.
That's kind of mean. What's the point of that? What? Also, a serious comment for a second.
Yeah.
Why put that on tape before the Nebraska game?
To get him thinking about it, Josh.
Why not?
Got to get him thinking about it.
Has anybody ever done a fake flea flicker where the running back pretends to toss it back and then runs up the gut?
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
That would be either the coolest play ever or it would get absolutely blown the hell up.
But Jerry Kaminsky, remember that name, kids, because 4 weeks from now, he will be quarterbacking against your Huskers. 232 yards, 3 touchdowns. North Dakota beat Long Island.
Nice.
42-21 in a game in which they scored all 42 of their points in the first half, including the last play we just saw.
Nick just walked in like it's the Lion King, by the way. He just held up the beer like it was a cub.
But the Fighting Hawks held LIU to 71 yards rushing.
Okay.
In the game.
Hokisker says, my old roommate predicted Nebraska goes 3-9. He listens to the show. What's your take? You'll have to wait till next Friday when we
They're
give
not
our...
going 3-9.
You don't think so?
Nebraska?
Oh, yeah, I guess we already did the floor and ceiling exercise.
Yeah, no, they're not going 3-9.
Both said 4. John writes in on the text
I believe
line.
Yesterday, didn't I say they're not going 4-8?
I believe you did say that. John writes, South Dakota School of Mines is where I played. Go Hard Rockers.
Is that their nickname?
That's a pretty cool nickname. Nick.
Oh, it makes sense.
Nick
I mean,
fancies himself a hard rocker.
Nice.
Yeah, music.
Hello, I'm back.
That is kind of fascinating.
Not on the video, though.
It is kind of fascinating. Did he get enough? No. Did another ball? It did. Another ball came out of the vines.
What?
So the Reds outfielder makes a catch against the vines, leaps into the vines. He caught it, but as soon as he emerged from the vines, another ball popped out of the vines.
How many second ball has hit the field?
How many balls are hidden in those vines?
Hey, you'd figure that they would clean them out after a game.
Is that ball from the 30s?
I'm guessing. Here it is. Yeah, it does. It falls out of the vines.
What?
Or was it a magic trick and he actually didn't catch the ball?
No, he caught. I mean,
and then
you can tell
he
caught
had
it.
he had a pretend ball behind him.
Now that would be funny.
He threw the pretend ball in the air at a camera shot. And then he
I'm
caught
guessing
that.
that's a BP. That's got to be a BP ball.
Kyle,
Maybe it's not. I don't know.
Kyle writes in on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Ty Simpson talk. I thought John Bishop didn't care. Not Thursday about games that don't count. Yeah, it is. The rules. You just get to create your own little rules, don't you? I don't care except when I do. Quite fascinated.
Again, I
you
did
rail
not.
on me for being excited about football, and then you're watching the preseason.
I watched a handful of plays. That's it.
Consistency, John. That's what I ask of you. Consistency.
Hashtag
You're the one that was
accountability.
like, I got to watch every game, every play of every game.
No, that's impossible.
And then you didn't because you didn't realize the television channel had been changed.
John, it's literally impossible to watch every play of every game. What will you be doing?
Have you ever tried?
No, because Nick, it is impossible.
At some point,
Then how
he
do
will.
you know it's impossible?
At some
Josh?
point, he will
Not enough
because
time,
that's
Nick.
part of the initiation to be in the football guild.
The Football Pervert Guild.
I love it.
Again,
By the way, speaking of football, Pete Nakos reported from On 3 right as the crossover was coming.
every
to a
time I
close.
hear that name, I
Pete
think
Nakos?
someone.
Narcos?
Well, no, I was thinking
Naked.
Pete Naked.
Yeah, Pete Naked reports that the Big Ten has announced it is moving to a 4-day player availability reports, moving away from the one-time only reports on Saturdays. This policy will apply only to Big Ten conference games.
So that means they have to report all injuries 4 days out,
Yes.
and then also on the day of, or every day.
See, that's a good question. I guess I was assuming it was every day. 4
'Cause
days.
I don't think the NFL does that, do they? Doesn't the NFL they do one at the beginning of the week and
No,
then
they
do one
do
at
it.
the
They
end?
do it every day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I love this. I love this because the coaches hate it.
Wow.
You know what? I've gotten to a point now. I have an opinion. I know that that's not our show. I have an opinion. I think college coaches are weenies.
Whoa.
I think the lack of practice availability and the nature that they No, Nick, this is all coaches. I think the way that they treat practice is honestly embarrassing.
In what way?
NFL, everything is open all the time.
Yeah.
And college coaches, you're only allowed to shoot video for 20 minutes. Deion Sanders, we never talked about it, but he had that weird thing earlier this month.
Yes.
Dude, these people are babies. So I want more of this
they
type of
are.
stuff. I
There's
want
no
more.
question.
I want the conferences to demand that they have like 5 practices open for fans during August. Like I would love this type of stuff just because they would lose their minds.
They would.
So I'm in on this. It's ridiculous. It's a practice. Let people watch from time to time.
Oh, but we don't want anyone to see.
Practice your flea flickers behind the scenes.
Josh
It's gonna
likes
be
it when
okay.
people watch.
I do Nick from chairs in the corner. Give everybody a chair in the corner to watch Nebraska practice.
Oh, I would be all in on this. In fact, someday, and that someday is probably going to be soon.
Yeah.
Where the sport is going to be far more condensed and essentially a true professional minor league, that those types of policies will probably be around.
Yeah, I look forward to that day when it happens because there are going to be some coaches who despise it, and I think that that's funny. I'm just kind of in the
you got to
mindset
remember
now. Like, make them mad.
The coaches have always been allowed to operate in their own little fiefdoms.
Correct.
Whereas
So if we're
in
going to turn this into the
they
pros,
actually have, they have rules.
I love that. I love that they require these types of things. I think it's great for the fans. Like your mileage may vary on practice availability. I love that Cowboys practice that people go to it though, because I find out about players, like I was thinking about that because there's this receiver right now who was an undrafted free agent named Camden Brown. He played at Georgia Southern last year, had spent some time at Auburn beforehand, undrafted. Nothing was expected. The guy is showing out during camp, and now everybody is essentially debating, will he make the roster or will he not? If it was like college football, we would not know about this guy other than inside info that people might, be able to spread.
Right.
And coaches mentioning him in post-practice availability. But instead, I know a lot about this guy, and I'm hoping that he makes the roster. And so, I don't know, it's just been on my mind a little bit more as I've read more Cowboys practice reports this year than usual.
Yeah.
Open them up. Open them up, Rule. Open them up.
That's what we should get the judges to be ruling on.
Open practice.
I think the fans should create their own class action lawsuit saying that practices should be allowed to be open.
We could do shows from Lincoln. We could go to practice, and then we could do our training camp shows. That's what they do in the pros.
Would you be allowed to, or would they have a security guard ready to
Oh,
bounce
Okay,
they
now
you?
that's
probably
true.
would.
John would be able to go, and then he could come and tell us about practice.
Oh, it could be
afterwards.
John and Michael and Nick.
Oh, Michael, what about me? I mean, I'm
You're
still
banned.
doing the show.
I think
They-
you're
They
banned.
can't ban me from the city.
I think they have like a sniper on a
I don't
building
think-
somewhere waiting for you.
I don't think that that's true. At least I hope it's not.
A little harsh.
I hope it's not.
A little harsh.
It doesn't have to be a lethal sniper. Maybe it's just like sandbags or something.
Yeah,
From a sniping position,
Rubber
Nick,
pellets.
I worry that would still hurt a lot.
probably so.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got a lot to come today.
It is 4
is-
times each week, by the
It
way.
is a one beer Friday. So
Yes,
if
it
you got
is.
a picture of what you're drinking to celebrate on this Friday, send it to us. Use the hashtag One Beer Friday. Send it to us in the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter page. And when we come back, it's the last 25 teams in 25 Grums preview, and it features Iowa.
Nick's
Go
going
Hawks.
for the no-hitter. Remember,
am.
it's not a perfect game, but it's
That's
a
right.
no-hitter.
And it's all up to Gary Dolphin. He's the last guy standing.
Nice.
The voice of the Iowa Hawkeyes next on 1620 The Zone.
countdown is on.
Keeps it. Easily scores. Touchdown, Iowa. Rushing touchdown number 10 for Mark Gronowski. Gronowski keep. And a good one. He's got room. There goes Gronowski. Inside the 10.
Nice rolled in special teams. Here comes Caden Weegan. He's through a search again. Caden Weegan off to the races. He beats Eckley. One more to beat. There goes Weegan to Iowa. Immortality. He passes Tim Dwight for the most return touchdowns in Iowa history. Caden Weegan.
Nebraska brings heat. Gronowski, back foot throw, man wide open. Watanabe with the catch. Touchdown. Iowa. 35 yards. Marty, nobody in front of him now, and he drops this one. Picks it up. It's loose. It's in the end zone.
This is too many highlights.
Nebraska, if they cover, it's a safety.
He's running out of music.
And it is. Disaster strikes for the Cornhuskers. Third and goal.
Here we go.
Gronowski,
There it is.
And it's Steven,
Yeah.
he's in.
Yeah.
Touchdown.
Yeah,
Iowa.
there it is.
Harvard's still in there.
We're still
You gotta
going.
keep it.
This is too many highlights.
And
Gary's got to leave for his game soon.
Ball's loose. Oh, goodness.
It's time for 25 teams in 25 grubs.
Was it Fulgaris that had the dunk on the 4 men on the floor play?
I'm surprised he didn't include that one.
Too,
Yeah.
Nick?
The regular
Goodness
season
gracious.
win. Nice game, buddy. The fan yelling at Hoiberg.
Jeez. And all of this, because the first time he tried to call Gary, there wasn't an answer.
We were like, oh,
and
maybe
we were like, oh, Nick's no-hitter might get busted. But
by his
Gary
own
Dolphin
guy.
answered on the second try. Hello, Gary.
Hi, Gary.
Hi, boys. That might be the longest
Yes.
play-by-play highlight I've ever heard in my life.
And you weren't even on it.
I know. He didn't even
No,
use
what
your
the
call.
hell's that all about? Is that a dig at the voice or what? Come on.
Unreal.
Apparently so. Some fan you are, Nick.
Yeah, Nick.
I wish we had Caden Weegan around for 2 or 3 more years, but he was a lot of fun to cover, as was Cooper DeJean and Tim Dwight. And that position has yielded a lot of tremendous players for Iowa down through the years.
It most certainly has. Well, it's the familiar voice of the Hawkeyes. Gary Dolphin is our final team in 25 teams and 25 grums. The Iowa Hawkeyes. Now, a lot of changes, as we've talked about with every one of the teams here, but still a quarterback battle going on right now between Jeremy Hikulinski and Hank Brown. I'm curious, from what you're able to tell, what are going to be the biggest differences between these two and the decision that, eventually will have to be made?
Yeah, and it's been a long time since we've talked about the Iowa quarterback in a positive note. But I'm happy to tell you these two young guys they're gifted. They just, like most guys, at least in the starting 22 for the Hawkeyes, have very little experience. We knew Gronowski was phenomenal at the FCS level last year, but he certainly was a revelation as that season wore on. 13 rushing touchdowns. That's a rarity. But what a great young man he is, and what a great year he had at Iowa. So now we go to the other end of the spectrum and find Hank Brown, the Auburn transfer, and Jeremy Hikulinski, the former Wake Forest product. And I will tell you, and I'm not copping out here, but I've seen a number of practices, and if you look at the numbers in practices and scrimmages, they're dead even. Both have been intercepted 4 times. The yardage is about the same. Now, they are different. I think, it's Tim Lester's 3rd year, and he's got a quarterback room full of his guys now. Hank Brown, although he's 6'5", he's more of a stationary quarterback. Doesn't mean he can't run. He's got good legs. He sees the field. Hikulinski is maybe an inch biscuit over 6'1", 6'2", a lot shorter, and he's more of a guy get out on the edge, take a look downfield, run and throw. And if you go to Kirk Ferentz and ask who his favorite is, he'll tell you whoever doesn't turn the ball over, whoever turns it over least, because this team is 4 deep at tailback, and I got to tell you, fellas, it's probably the deepest receiving core in my 29 years of calling Iowa football. They've got 3 guys at 6'5", led by Reese Vandersea. Now he's got to stay healthy. And if they do stay healthy, this team will score points because the offensive line, even though they lost 3 parts to that Joe Moore award-winning wall last year, this offensive line will be outstanding in time. We know the 2 All-Americans, Cade Pieper, the Nebraska native, and Tyler Locke, the massive assassin at left tackle from Indianapolis. Those 2 guys are on every preseason watch list, what have you. Pieper can play multiple positions. And the kids they're plugging in there for Logan Jones and Jennings Dunker and Bo Stevens, they're young, but boy, they're nasty. And that's the Iowa way, really. You guys know that as well as I do.
Gary, what do you think happens in terms of the timeline of the decision at quarterback? Like, would it shock you if this was something that went into the regular season? Have to imagine there'd want to be a decision made at the very least by the time that they play Iowa State.
Well, Kirk is not a guy to let it get too deep into the season. Now, I think you'll see both a lot next week in the opener with Northern Illinois, who's now moving to the Mountain West Conference. And Northern Illinois has had a solid program. They lost a lot of guys, too, last year, like Iowa did. But they're coached by Rob Hartley, who played on the 2002 Ohio State National Championship team. So he knows all about the Big Ten. He'll have his team prepared. But they're lacking in a lot of areas due to inexperience as well. So I think you'll see, if you're asking me today, I think Heklinski will start. And I haven't talked to anybody deep on the inside to get that. It's just based on what I've seen. Because I think he's more of a Tim Lester type quarterback. Now, when you get out on the edge and go and you're making decisions in the blink of an eye, you tend to the chance of turning the ball over is a little bit more heavy. If you're more of a pocket guy like Brown, okay, a little more conservative maybe. We'll see. But both will play, I think, an equal number of snaps in that first game. Now, if Heklinski starts and, he leads them to 4 first-half touchdowns, you probably won't see Hank till middle of the third or late fourth quarter. But I think they'll both play. They'll both get a lot of snaps, and I think that decision will be well made early in the week of Iowa State.
The voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin. Iowa, our team in 25 teams and 25 grums. Of course, what Gronowski was able to give Iowa last year was a running threat from the quarterback position. That probably won't be as common with either of these 2 quarterbacks, certainly the 500 yards that Gronowski had last year. You mentioned the running back room's pretty deep. Moulton is back. He had 800 yards last year for Iowa. So in terms of making up maybe the difference, do you anticipate that, Moulton maybe has to be a 1,000-yard rusher, or do you think it'll be divvied up between the variety of running backs?
Without question, it'll be more by running back. Moulton got his 800 and whatever it was, 50 yards, and I think 7 or 8 touchdowns in limited duty last year. He got hurt. He missed several games. Xavier Williams is backing him up. He's 225 pounds at 6'1". McNeil is the jet. He's got the great speed. And then this young guy they brought in from South Dakota State, 1,900 yards and 20 touchdowns. He's got a couple of years remaining of eligibility. He might be the next Gronowski in terms of rushing touchdowns, but he's got to find his minutes. But right now, Kamari Moulton has been hanging around for 2 or 3 years. He's the crafty veteran. He's small. He ducks in behind those big old linemen, and he's hard to find. So with that Iowa zone stretch, that stretch zone they run, and ran it really effectively last year, particularly on the inside, Moulton will be the guy, and obviously the others will spell him. The receivers, Vandersea, they brought in Tony Diaz from Rio Grande Valley in Texas. He's a little guy. He'll play the slot, and they'll play 3 tight ends this year, guys. I mean, the bowl MVP against Vanderbilt, DJ Vanami, he's 6'5", about 245. He can run down the seam, so they'll split him out a lot. That's what's really joyful about watching Lester's offense. He'll throw a lot of mail at you, and I think between the between the running backs, the tight ends, and the wide receivers, for the quarterbacks, just don't screw it up. Just let that offense flow. And Lester's not going to. He's not going to batten down the hatches from a conservative nature. He's going to get after it like he always has.
Gary, other side of the ball, I read this stat today from Bill Connolly of ESPN that Kirk Ferentz, who had never brought in more than 9 total transfers in a season, brought in 8 for the defense alone this offseason. I wonder, like, what should that tell us about the needs that they had to fill? How well do you think they've done at filling those needs with Phil Parker again in charge on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, the need is great, especially up front. I mean, you can't lose Max Llewellyn and Ethan Herkett and All-American Aaron Graves and not feel the pinch.
Yeah.
And so that's where they needed the immediate help. Now, these young linebackers that you've never heard of, you will. You'll know them by midseason. Preston Reese and Buffington and Derek Montross are three Iowa farm boys, and they're all around 235 to 240 at 6'2" or 3. And they love to hit. And so now Jaden Montgomery's back. He's a legacy player in the middle, and he'll lead that crew. But up front, young guys, I mean, the names you won't recognize, but they got a kid from Elon. They got a kid from Northern Illinois, ironically, a kid from Holy Cross. They've got some guys that have played at the FCS level and obviously out of the MAC. So guys that are experienced. Now, Bryce Hawthorne is the lone returnee up front. Now, he was hurt most of last year, but Bryce was an all-conference player, again, at South Dakota State, great program. So they really need Bryce to step up. Now, I'll give you 2 names that Iowa fans hopefully will love by midseason. One of them, the last name is Epinesa.
Yep.
And Lose, I saw him in the spring. I'm not kidding you. He looked like he was 235, 240. He's 270 right now at 6'3", and he looks a lot like his older brother. Now, can he play like his older brother? Well, he was a 5-star coming out of high school, so I mean the talent is there. He just hasn't played. On the other end, they got a kid from Detroit named Kenneth Merriweather, and he's a junior, and he is nasty. He's got that long, rangy body, likewise about 270. So they've got the ability at defensive end. As Norm Parker used to tell Matt Roth, I love the way you get up the field. Just don't run by the quarterback. Run to the quarterback. And so that's what these guys have from a stunt perspective and movement. It's one thing to be fast. It's one thing to, take the most direct route to the QB. And like Llewellyn, like Herkett, reach in there and knock the ball loose. And these 2 guys are very capable. So they've got the guys, fellas. It's just, you're right. They brought in 8 transfers. And the good news is several of them are freshmen. So guys, and Iowa's big on retention. They're not big on transfers, but Ferentz understands the day, the down, the distance, the time and the moment. He knows that's the world we live in now. It's just what you can afford. But to me, the bottom line is this staff is very veteran. Nobody leaves Kirk Ferentz's staff. You had LeVar Woods go to Michigan State last year. That was unique and that was rare. But these guys know how to recruit. They know how to identify who and what they want. And I'm very confident that by the time the Michigan Big Ten opener gets here, they'll be in pretty good rhythm.
Who's going to be the next Caden Weechin, Tim Dwight,
yeah,
Cooper DeJean? Who is that guy? We need to know because we know they're going to be great, probably.
Well, Tim Dwight obviously was heralded. Mm-hmm. Cooper DeJean was from small town Iowa and obviously very gifted, a multiple sport athlete. Dallas Clark was a walk-on.
Yep.
And Caden Weegan really wasn't heavily recruited. I mean, he went to Iowa Western, and he's always had this great speed, but now could he channel it? Could he funnel it into going north and south? In the first couple of years, he was going way too far, way too much sideline to sideline. They got that straightened out, and you saw what he did the last 2 years. So I think, Zach Lutmer is very seasoned. He's very salty. He's a safety, a cashback. He's got good playing experience. Zach will get a real good look back there. And then several of these younger guys that they brought in a couple of years ago, they're redshirt sophomores now. Watson, most notably, they'll get their shot. But it is a throw of the dice. I mean, it's a flip of the coin as to who's going to be back there consistently. Right now, Zach Lutmer, he's from that tough neighborhood up there, Rock Valley, Rock Rapids, Pick a Rock. That's where those guys, cut their teeth. Great high school programs. And I think it's going to be Lutmer for the most part, and hopefully he stays healthy.
Gary, I wonder, big picture, what you think about this team in terms of the college football playoff. They've gotten a little bit of run this offseason as, one of those teams beyond the obvious top 3 of the league. I look at the schedule in particular, that at Michigan, Ohio State at home, at Washington stretch, where if you can get through there, I mean, even maybe with 1 win, let alone 2, that it gives you some leniency in the other conference matchups and, of course, the Cy-Hawk game. What do you think about the possibility of Iowa in the 12-team playoff being a mix?
Yeah, it would, in all probability, if you look at it on paper, it's more as a wild card candidate, but that I could promise you that's the furthest thing from parents' mind. By the way, I'm not sitting on the railroad tracks. It sounds like it, but it's amazing how loud those things are. But I would say this, and you brought it up. Iowa State in the preseason. Who knows how good Iowa State might be or could be. But then they've got at Michigan to start the Big Ten and come home for Ohio State and then go to Washington. That is really a juggernaut of a start to a Big Ten season. I'm just hoping they get through that 3-game stretch there, really the first 6 games, for the most part, injury managed, because, and it's not that the back end of the schedule is easy pickings. It's not. And it always ends with Nebraska. But it'll be much more manageable if they can get through Ohio State and Washington back to back without major injuries. And by then, these guys will have grown up a lot. But to think they could make the playoffs with that schedule would be somewhat of a reach right now. I think if they keep this group together and get these quarterbacks a year of seasoning, then next year is when I would want to talk playoffs. But, they got a lot of mention last year had a chance to beat Indiana. That was a 1-score game.
Oh, yeah.
Led Southern Cal for 3 quarters out at USC. Yep. Oregon had to score a touchdown in the final 2 to 3 minutes to beat them. And, granted, 2 of those 3 were at Kinnick, but this is a team I certainly wouldn't sell them short, and I wouldn't overlook them if Kirk Ferentz is coaching them.
Gary Dolphin, the voice of the Iowa Hawkeyes. By the way, Gary, saw this week that you were, along with 3 others, are going into the Iowa Media Hall of Fame there with the Iowa Athletic Department. Congratulations on that. Very well deserved.
Well, I appreciate the comments. Thank you. That's the Media Wall of Honor at Kinnick Stadium, and it incorporates radio, TV, newspaper folks that have covered the Hawks, home and away. I mean, visiting media as well for if you live long enough, you're certainly eligible to be on the wall. There's only 10 plaques up there, so I'm really honored to this will be my 30th year, and I was hoping to get to 25 when I first got the job, and we've done that. So as long as the health holds up, we'll take it year to year, fellas. But thanks for the comments. Appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Gary, and have a great, enjoyable season.
Will do, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
That is Gary Dolphin, the voice of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
So, looking at our friend Pear, this is a
Cubs bullpen.
Yeah, I can tell you.
Holy
crap! They're at 7-3.
They suck.
Yikes!
They absolutely to the freaking Reds, for Christ's sake.
So the winning percentage in the 12 games, I'm going to save the 3 that I mentioned in the interview for a moment, but the lowest percentage chance that Pear gives them of winning is 58%. So 9 of the 12 games they play are 58% or better, with the majority of those, John, actually being at 70% or better. But it comes down to that 3-game stretch at the end of September and into early October. At Michigan, 36% chance of winning. Ohio State at home the next week, 15% chance of winning. At Washington, 44% chance of winning. And Gary said it last year when they went on that really nice stretch of getting really close and almost pulling it out against Iowa, against Oregon, or against Indiana, against Oregon. Those were home games. The 2 toughest games on the schedule this year. I guess I don't know how I view Michigan, but certainly Ohio State, they're the toughest game. At least that one is at home. But if they can get through that stretch, man, at 1-2, and they don't lose the Cy-Hawk matchup, like you're talking about a team that would have no margin for error.
Mhm.
But if they were able to get to 10-2, they would be in the conversation. I've softened a little bit early on this offseason. I had them in the playoff. I don't think I do anymore. I just think they're having to replace too much. I think there are a few too many questions, but I do think that by the second half of the season, they're going to be a huge pain in the ass. And as always, when we talk about them with Nebraska, it just sucks for the Huskers that they always have to play them at the end of the year. Now Nebraska would play Iowa in week 1 and probably lose 2. But by that point, they know what they are. They have figured things out. And last year, they peaked. We always say, oh, yeah, the game's going to be decided by 3 points. And they blitzed them. They absolutely ran them off the field.
There's only, of the games that I was favored in by pair ratings, only one coin flip game, and that's the game at Illinois.
Yeah.
Everything else is a touchdown or more.
Crazy.
In terms of Iowa being favored according to pairratings.com. And yeah, you mentioned those 3 games in the middle, the first 3 conference games.
Throw Minnesota on the back end of it. So you got 3 road games and 4 matchups overall at Michigan, Ohio State at home, at Washington, at Minnesota. That is a brutal stretch just of travel, the back and forth. But if they're able to get through it, they're feeling really, really good. Feeling really, really good.
So there it is. Another season of 25 teams and 25 grums in the books.
Nick, congratulations. You made it through.
Got a no-hitter.
Yep, you got 25 people on the show. They all showed up at some point in time during the allotted time.
Now
you don't have to book that many guests anymore.
That is my favorite time of the year, is the end of 25 teams. Yeah. Hashtag accountability. I do have a question about when I was on my honeymoon.
Oh, yeah.
What happened with Indiana? Did we get the guy that I booked for Indiana?
No. We had to get a different person.
Oh, you know what?
That's right. So he didn't.
Sorry, Nick. You failed.
Yep.
Good job on the accountability, though.
Yep.
But we did have 25 interviews in 25 grums.
Yeah, we got the guy who looks like Mike Schaefer.
Oh.
I don't remember his name.
He was good, though.
Yeah, he was really good. I found out this week he's from Atlanta. He's a Southerner. He triggered Indiana fans last year because he picked Alabama to beat him in the Rose Bowl.
Wow.
Nice job there, bro. Remember that game? John wrote, Nick got married. Congrats.
Yeah, I have a wife now. I'm married.
Yep. He doesn't ever talk about it.
I have a ring. See?
Doesn't ever talk about it. Good job, Nick.
Thank you.
And congrats on not having to book a million guests and make a million graphics.
Now I can focus on other things and not slip up.
Nice. Oh, there we go. He's blaming 25 teams for his recent mistakes.
Oh, is that
I'm not
it's
blaming...
like Matt Rule in the podcast. We bought his NIL rights and no more 25 teams.
There it is.
For 11 months.
It wasn't just 25 teams. There was just a lot going on.
Mitch Holtis is every day.
I went on a honeymoon in a really unfortunate time.
Whose fault was that?
Probably mine.
There you go.
Well, coming up, more of the dumbass stupid.
Awesome. Wait, is this about Nick?
No.
That's mean, Sean.
Nice.
No, not this time. Kent's Movie Club still to come as well.
Awesome, Nick.
Yeah.
The movie. I figured you'd be excited.
I am. I love this movie.
Awesome. I can't wait to talk about it.
We'll be back. 1620 The Zone.
Ball is away. It's an end-over-end wobbler. Duandros has the catch at the 40. Flag down. 45, 50, 45, 40. Into the 35. Oh, come on. Oh, my goodness.
As the
dumbass, stupid
turn.
35.
This portion brought to you today by Dawn, the dishwashing liquid that takes grease out of your way.
Now you have to regain your composure.
Oh, you don't either.
Yes, you do.
And by Bold 3 detergent with built-in fabric softener.
Our defense coming out and giving up touchdowns on the first drive of the second half. I'm going to lose my mind if they do that.
That is terrible.
That stupid is on a roll, baby. Of course, we've had a lot happen this week with every conference now coming up with rules to stop pro players from coming back and
which
playing
is good.
college.
They did something good.
But
No, see, you never want to celebrate the good. You always just go negative town.
But they didn't, Josh, because a judge, part of our legal system said 9-9. I mean, no.
Over, first of all.
A judge.
Nick can hit it. Oh, but it wasn't on.
Designated Hitler.
It was a judge in Texas.
Yeah.
Dallas, those unruly folks.
Go Cowboys.
Signed an order that prohibits the NCAA, the SEC, and its commissioner, Greg Sankey, from stopping a group of athletes, 3 of whom currently listed on NFL rosters, from returning to college sports for one more season.
So what does this mean? Who's going to get to play now? Everybody again?
Well, according to the judge, Judge Martin Hoffman, who
Martin Hoffman, screw that guy.
Guessing probably has, who knows? I'm sure he donates to one of the programs in the SEC.
Oh, probably.
As long as they would have been eligible to continue playing college sports in the following semester, if they had a 5th year of eligibility, they are eligible today. Now, I did see this, and this is from a law professor at the University of Texas.
Okay.
Scott Snyder. He says that the order is ex parte.
What does that mean?
It means the SEC, the NCAA, and Greg Sankey were not heard. It is not a ruling on the merits. It is a 14-day emergency order entered after hearing only the athlete's presentation. So in other words, the order was made even though nobody representing the SEC or Greg Sankey or the NCAA were there.
So is the assumption that then once the NCAA or Greg Sankey or whatever, they respond, that then they will reverse the order?
Well,
snip, snap, snip, snap?
This professor, Scott Snyder, says, for what it's worth, this one goes extraordinarily far. It effectively gives 41 plaintiffs another season, reopens the transfer portal, overrides NCAA and SEC rules, protects schools and coaches from penalties, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Texas procedure allows the defendants to move to dissolve it on 2 days' notice. There are many defects here, but given the order's failure to identify the irreparable injury or explain why notice could not be provided, they have substantial grounds to do exactly that. So what he's saying is this may not hold up.
Okay, so it's good. That's good then?
For the moment, until we get another judge. I mean, at some point, you know what we ought to do? We just need to place a call to
Tony Petiti.
Well, Ruth Bader's not around anymore, but one of the Supreme Court justices.
She's dead.
She is
Yes.
dead.
Kavanaugh,
our beer drinking friend. We'll hear it open a little bit later on.
Not a word I would use.
We need to pick up the phone and say, could you
I don't
guys
know.
could you guys just listen to all of these cases?
I think
and
he
just
might
make a ruling so we can be done with
And
this?
they'll say, yeah, I'll do it. Sure.
Nice. I think he might actually side with the players. Remember when he went after the NCAA?
I mean, at this point,
you said 3 days ago this was the worst thing ever, and then Simple talked, and you're like, you know what? I actually kind of like it. These players should be able to play. What happened to you since Tuesday?
No, I didn't change
You're
my
a
tune.
changed man.
No, I did not change my tune.
Don't these judges have something better to do with their lives? Don't they have important cases to be overseeing right now? Don't they have like actual crimes, murders being committed?
Yeah,
What's
but they're
happening?
Yeah, but they're not doing a very good job with that either.
Are they getting money under the table from some of these players?
Josh, you need to tell your acolytes to ramp it up so the judges can keep busy with that.
Acolytes?
Yeah, in your cult.
Oh,
your
the
murder
football cult, Nick?
No, your murder cult.
John writes, Scott Snyder at the University of Texas. I hate that guy. Horns down, bitch.
Well, yeah, but Yeah, but he's the one that's saying
We like this guy, right? He has a good take.
I mean, he's saying that the take is not so bad.
Baymon says, I hate lawyers. Yeah, me too.
There's not many people that love them.
I mean,
Not
a
even
lot of
their
people right
spouses.
now. I mean, a lot of these people right now. I just want to watch the games, man. Just want to watch. John, stop watching this game. It's only gonna make you sad.
I just want kids.
They suck.
Men. I want full-grown men to not stay in college forever.
Yeah,
that's what I want. Get a job.
You know what? I'm out on the 5 for 5 rule now. Bad rule. Sucks. Get it out of here. Get this crap out of here.
But in all seriousness, going back to the stuff you were talking about, what Sip said earlier this week.
Oh, how it changed your mind?
It didn't change my mind. I'm just saying, if you wanted to free yourself,
Take the black pill
from all of this nonsense.
Nihilism.
Mm-hmm.
What were you gonna say? Though?
I mean, think about
Embrace
it.
nihilism.
There's really like 3 tenets of what college sports is supposed to be. I'm using air quotes.
Can we add a fourth of make money?
What we have in our idealistic mind painted the picture of college athletics.
So what are those 3 things?
Get an education.
Yeah.
Maintain amateur status. I mean, again, I'm going back.
Sure.
And be true to your school.
Play for the name on the front, not the name on your back. Is that what you're kind of saying?
And of course,
money. The fourth is money. Make a lot of money.
Well, but I'm talking about what we have always envisioned. We as society traditionally envisioned college athletics to be an opportunity for young people to earn an education while playing a sport.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that also requires, hey, make sure you're going to class and you're actually learning something.
Sure.
Be true to your school. Stay there.
Yeah. That's funny.
But we've already lost that. I mean, the wide open.
It's not amateur anymore.
No transfer portal. The amateurism's gone. If you allow yourself to not worry about, and I guess another one would be eligibility, right? Where the kids all played for 4 years.
There's a window of time. That you're allowed to be in college.
And about the only thing that's left is the window of time, right? Because the amateurism is gone.
Sure.
The be true to your school, you can transfer.
Yeah.
That's gone. Some folks are like, I don't care if they go to class anymore. But if you can allow yourself to just say, what's eligibility?
I mean, honestly, to go along with those things,
because that's what it sounded like. And so it wasn't so much Sip saying this, but when he was speaking, that's what triggered the light bulb.
All the
in
other
my
stuff
head.
is ended, so why not this one too?
Exactly. And so if you're willing to allow all those things to go, then none of this stuff would bother you.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
it is kind of like a where do you draw the line and why is this the line? Why?
So I'm
I'll
curious-
ask myself, why is this the line that I'm drawing?
Right. Yeah. So that'd be
because I think that they need to go on and get a job. Like, it's just like I don't want adults playing. That's what I mean. It really is like,
and that's fine.
First of all, if football is dangerous, you know, there's a reason, in my opinion, that football, the NFL has a rule where you have to stay in college for 3 years. You can say a lot of it is like development. It helps out the NFL so they don't misidentify a player. But also, it would be dangerous if an 18-year-old, even as good as Jeremiah Smith, went in and was having to go up against, trying to think of Aaron Donald in his prime. Like, that's not safe. Those things aren't safe. And so that's why because I don't really care about any of the other stuff, right? I want them to get paid. I don't mind transfers.
So all it would take is for you to just let go of the idea that, you could have 30-year-old adults playing college football.
Yeah.
If that disappeared, then none of this would bother you.
Well,
anymore.
yeah. And I mean, to further the minor league comparison, you go to a minor league game, Storm Chasers game, you're going to have some 19-year-olds there playing, but there's going to be guys in their 30s.
Yeah.
So they're all over the place. I mean, this is minor league. It's just not called that.
For me, it's selfish, but the preservation, I still believe in the preservation of everybody's got a voice. Every school, every state seemingly has a team, has a program. Some have multiple, where everyone's got a voice. So I still want that. I still want all of the other non-revenue sports. Selfishly, we profit a great deal in this city from the College World Series.
Our job is based around college sports.
I work for a university that would be definitely left out if things got more consolidated and it was just about being a professional minor league. Because, I wonder about schools like Creighton and schools especially that don't have football and whether or not they would have any viability in such a system.
Not to mention,
these are all the things that are kind of, and so anytime I see this stuff happening,
you think about it from
I think about it from that perspective.
I have that perspective.
I think about it from that perspective, and I'm worried about the future. So that's kind of what's holding me back.
There you go.
But
you're like Jerry Jones.
If you're one of the just shut up and play football crowd,
which I am,
all you pretty much have to do is let go of the idea of what is eligibility.
But the big difference, though, is that,
and you'd be freed.
I have, as long as I can remember, I've wanted players to get paid. So like that isn't something that has ever bothered me because I wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
The transferring, I'm definitely not like, I don't hate it. I also don't love it. I think that there should be a nice middle ground of where they're at right now. What was the other thing? There was one more thing that you mentioned.
Going to school.
Oh, yeah. And I talked about that the other day.
And being true to your school, with the whole.
Yeah. And so, like, for a lot of the stuff that's changed have been things I've wanted.
Yeah.
This is not something that I obviously wanted.
Coming up next, Mitch Sherman did an interesting analysis comparing Nebraska from 30 years ago to today in terms of in-state players as we celebrate the return of high school football this weekend. Big game tonight.
Cool.
And we've got the movie club.
Awesome. I can't wait to talk about it.
I'm stoked.
On 1620 The Zone. Don't forget, you can still register to win a trip for two to the Oregon game, brought to you by Woodhouse Auto Family. All you have to do is go to 1620thezone.com right now. Get yourself registered.
Awesome.
You could be headed to Eugene on us. Airfare for two, hotel, 2-night stay,
gift card,
and of course, tickets to the game.
That's a sweet stadium. I've been there a couple times. It's awesome. Also, the Oregon fans, they're really cool. They're going to treat you well. Honestly, they might pity you. So I think you're gonna have a great time.
Okay, wow. I can't believe you did
they're gonna
that.
go up like 40-0. They'll be like, oh, hey, do you want to come to our tailgate? We have weed, which is legal out there. People forget. You're gonna have a great time. I'm just gonna tell you, you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, and if Nebraska loses, they're gonna blame you because you just jinxed them.
Yes, if Nebraska loses to the best team in the sport this year, I am to blame. Not Nebraska or Oregon or Dan Lanning versus Matt Rule.
Well, Mitch Sherman,
dear friend,
did a research project this week looking at the difference in-state recruiting by Nebraska from 30 years ago when they last won the national title. Oh boy,
what?
I'm just thinking of that. It's next year will be 30 years.
Uh-huh.
And what they have done this year in 1997. Excuse me, 1997.
Yeah,
almost 59% of Nebraska's roster, 110 of 188 players, came from within the state. This year, it's 27%. 31 out of 115.
John, I believe, because I've rewatched the Missouri game from that season probably 20 times in my life, I believe on the starting offense, 9 of the players were Nebraskans.
Yeah.
I believe that was the
I
number,
believe that is the number.
which is incredible. Talk about a percentage that we will never see around here again.
On the first and second string depth chart, 41% of Nebraska's two deep in 97 was a high school graduate of a high school in Nebraska. This year, he's projecting this year's depth chart. It would only be 17% of the two deep.
Did you have the same reaction that I did? Because he goes through the reasons why,
Sure.
and the reasons why are fairly obvious, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the biggest one is roster limitations. You could load up on especially the back end of your roster if you didn't think that the best players were warranting of a two deep. But for a long time, you could do that. You could load up on those guys because the roster size was only what you wanted it to be. You can have an imagination as large as whatever you want your roster to be. So that's changed. But the other, he just kind of mentioned in passing because of the roster limitations, was the walk-on program. And it just kind of hit me of like, wow, that was such a driving component of conversations and discourse for years.
Yes, it
around
was.
here. And I don't remember until I just said walk-on the last time that I said that out loud. I don't know how long it's been since we did a show and we mentioned walk-ons.
Yeah.
It's probably been since, honestly, all the rules went through.
But it's that two deep. Nearly half of the two deep was Nebraska residents.
Incredible.
Now it's going to be about 17%. So
less than 1 in 5.
Exactly. So there's a lot of changes there. By the way, he also did some research on outstate recruiting. In 97, the California, Texas, Florida triumvirate produced 10% of the roster, 22% of the two deep. This year, it's 22% of the roster, 33% of the two deep. So the California, Texas, Florida rate has gone up. In terms of the footprint, now back in 1997, it was the Big 12 footprint. So you're talking about the states of Nebraska, Colorado, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. Nebraska had 36% of its roster from the Big 12 footprint. This year, 38% of the non-Nebraskans come from the Big 10 footprint. Now, the Big 10 footprint is also much larger and also includes the state of California.
But with the roster sizes being smaller,
yes,
that is quite the number to see.
2026 recruiting class, 19 high school graduates from Nebraska signed with FBS programs, but only 2 went to Lincoln.
Yeah, we just got done last hour or so talking about the Iowa Hawkeyes, and one of their better players is from Nebraska.
That's right. Piper's there.
And I think about that a lot with, various dudes who are in the pros or who will be on Nebraska's schedule or whatever, that's really been a problem for what, John, 20 years, 25 years now. I mean, really in the post-Solich era that a lot of players have gotten out of this state.
Now, a lot of this too is you've got back in 97, this was definitely a developmental program. And so a lot of the Nebraska talent who were perceived to be not as good as the Florida talent all came up through the ranks and, did their time and were essentially elevated to, a starting or a prominent position on the team. This year's program or the current program has not been a great developmental program. And thus you're plugging a lot of holes with now transfers, but it's just the idea of, I think these numbers also embody the change that has taken place in this program where they are not and haven't been. And this isn't just a Matt Rule thing, but there weren't many guys at the Frost program really developed. There weren't a lot of great players at the Riley program developed. And so I think what will happen, I'm not saying that the Nebraska percentage or the Nebraska rate will go up if Nebraska started becoming a more developmental program and had more proof of concept. But I do think it does work against getting more in-state kids that Nebraska hasn't been a great developmental program.
Definitely, because you view an outsider or a player who has a higher ranking or whatever, and you say that they're going to reach their ceiling a little quicker, and maybe you believe that they're going to reach that because of themselves, but maybe you believe it also because you might not be able to do it yourself.
You can check it out on theathletic.com and take a look at what Mitch had to do. Coming up next, it is movie club time. Kent's waiting in the green room, and we'll talk Seven Samurai, Nick's pick this week on 1620 The Zone.
Friday, the final day of the week. These are the voyages of the program Unsportsmanlike Hunt. Its ongoing mission to explore strange new movies, to seek out new bits and new edification, to boldly go where no radio program has gone before. Hellcat's Movie Club. It's Hellcat's Movie Club. Hellcat's Movie Club. It's Hellcat's Movie Club.
Johnny didn't do the thing.
Yeah, John. Why don't you do the thing?
Freaking Alex Bregman.
Okay, Josh, you should have turned this off a while ago.
Strikes out with a bases loaded, chance to make it a one-run game.
Sad.
And does not. I mean, they have a thing now. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's called the ABS Challenge.
Whoa.
You can challenge strike calls.
Oh, so he struck out looking?
Yeah.
He
and
just
he didn't
watched it go by?
challenge. He was
Sad.
watching, and then he just turned around and walked away. Oh, hey, Kent. How you doing?
Hey, Kent.
Hello.
How's your week been?
What's that?
How's your week been?
Oh, good, real good. I spent last night or yesterday in the scenic city of Kearney.
What are you doing out there?
Did you go to the Arch?
I did not go to the Arch. I went to Marty Stewart and the Fabulous Superlatives at this little performing arts center they have out there called the Merriman Center. Really nice little venue. And Marty Stewart, that's the best band in country music without any question, maybe the best band in the world.
Oh, wow.
They're just fabulous.
I praise.
So yeah, so I drove to Kearney and saw them and whatever, and that was great fun.
Good.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
My parents went to high school. It's where they fell in love. And look, now I'm here.
It's too bad. I guess we should have gotten rid of Kearney. All right, Nick, your pick this week, Seven Samurai.
Yes. So this movie is about a small village in Japan in the 1500s, late 1500s, who is being attacked by bandits. They're just basically being held hostage. They have to give up their rice, grain, whatever. They're just, yeah. So the group of people in the village have decided they finally had enough. So they go to, I guess I'd call it a town, to try to recruit samurai, but they don't have anything to offer other than food. So,
which they're trying to
save.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know.
Tough.
The samurai famously don't want to work for no money. So their first challenge is to find one samurai that'll do it. Then they happen to find the coolest person I could only compare to an Obi-Wan type to help them. And then this samurai ends up finding a group of 6 other samurai. And then they go back, teach the villagers how to defend themselves. There's a really fun twist in the movie along the way.
Spoiler.
I mean, it's not a spoiler to say there's a twist. It's okay.
I didn't think it was that, but I was just making a joke. Nick, I apologize.
Old movie.
I apologize.
I
I was just trying to make a joke.
That gum thing is 70 years old, man.
Fine. The twist is
No, I wasn't.
I know. I'm not going to say the twist, but there's twist, and then they end up defending the village, and there's not at no cost, but it's a beautiful movie. And I know, John, you had
hated it.
You had brought up the length of the movie. 3.5 hours is a pretty long hang.
It's a very long hang.
But I would make the argument that every scene builds on the overall story. I don't think, like, you can edit some of that out, probably, but I don't think any of the scenes that weren't edited out were wasted. I think it all did a very good job of either establishing characters, explaining who the characters are. I know another point you had was the overacting. Not everybody.
That's an issue though that is epidemic. You talk about things that don't age well.
Actually, a pandemic in this case.
Yes,
but
that is something that happened in all movies back in the day.
It was, but I think that this movie feels extremely modern to me in that the overacting happened, but it all felt like it made sense with the characters. Like some of these characters were just eccentric and they were just like that, but other characters were more stoic and they weren't overacting. It felt like a very modern approach where it's harder for me to watch older American movies because they all feel overacted and they're all talking like they're on a stage. Whereas this movie, I mean, I don't speak Japanese, but it all felt more natural. The dialogue, the way they talked, it all felt natural. And I believe Kurosawa even had different regional accents. Like the villagers spoke a different type of or different dialect of Japanese than some of the samurai did. They spoke like a more proper one that was like a bumpkin Japanese that the villagers spoke. Kinda. But I thought that every character in this movie had a very clear character type. It was very clear cut. Nobody was the same. And it was entertaining. And even the writing was very well done. I know I just mentioned the dialogue, and I don't know how exact one-to-one the translations were to the actual spoken Japanese, but even the way they talked felt very non-wooden. It felt real.
Ken, I'm curious because many have cited this as a groundbreaking film in a lot of different respects, and you obviously are a historian of film. So I'm curious, what are some of the things that this film introduced that was inspiration for others in future generations?
Well, start with the storyline. Not only was it directly remade 100% by the American movie, the Magnificent Seven, which is actually what this movie was called when it was released in the U.S. the first time, was the Magnificent Seven. So the geniuses in Hollywood didn't even go far enough to steal the name. They got sued and whatever. But this thing it created this storyline that you've seen 8 million times of get the group together, let's get the team back together.
Building a team.
And then fight an overwhelming enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You could go through 8 zillion movies that this thing imitated. I counted today, I fell down a rabbit hole looking at 8 direct remakes in the US and Japan. But then there's all kinds of movies that almost completely steal the story, including A Bug's Life, of all things, right? So you have that, but you have smaller elements, okay? Kurosawa's probably the most influential director on a whole bunch of American directors, but importantly, George Lucas, who took a bunch of Star Wars from this, but also took from his movie, The Hidden Fortress. There are direct line lifts in Tarantino pictures that he took actual dialogue from this movie, is how influential it has been on it. And then this is not something that's quite as obvious, but camera angles. First time you used multiple camera shoots on a action scene, he was using 3 cameras and different lens lengths and all of that. Completely innovative for its time. And just for, this isn't direct, to get your question or a comment about it being too long, when they first made the movie or put the movie out, it was 160 minutes.
So way shorter.
Way shorter. And this original director's cut didn't become widely circulated until, I believe, the 80s.
Oh, wow.
Late 70s, early 80s. The first time I saw it in film class, it was the 2.5 hour. We watched it the class was, one of those afternoon long kind of classes. And we watched the whole thing and talked about it in the class. So it was less than 4 hours for sure.
Ken, one of the things that I was thinking as I watched it, given the time period in which it was shot in the 50s, was there's like the scenes towards the end with the weather and all of the horses in particular. And I'm thinking, how the hell do you do this in 1950, whatever, given you don't have computers to fix things in post, where you're not going to be able to add in special effects like that? Not to mention, I was then thinking, I wonder how many animals were treated in ways that would get somebody in trouble on a film shoot today. But I couldn't believe how, and I want to shout out one of our friends of the Grum, Alec. Alec loaned me his 4K Criterion disc to watch it, and I ended up watching a few minutes on HBO Max just to see the difference, and it was darn near night and day. Much scratchier, much more damaged, whereas the copy that I had was very pristine. But I couldn't believe how good that stuff looked, given, again, this is what, a 70-something-year-old movie.
And you're on to a couple things there. First, that I saw the 4K one in the theater here last year. And it's jaw-dropping in there. The way they shot that last scene, it took them 2 months.
That's incredible.
2 months. This thing was shot over, I'm going to get this wrong on the exact number, but I think it's 148 days over the course of a year. And they ran out of money. They had locations go bad. Kurosawa ended up in the hospital for a while, just completely stressed out and destroyed by making the movie.
Oh, wow.
And when he was late in his life, somebody asked him if he would make that movie again. He said, no, I'd die. So, but it took 2 months. And so they'd film the scene. And if something went wrong, they'd film it again. And as far as the horses go, like I say, I went far too far down this rabbit hole. They had originally purchased 40 horses to do the shoot. But when they started going out and doing the locations, they were like, we can't be hauling 40 horses all over Japan. So then they would hire horses from that local area and then paint the horse to make it look like the guy was riding before.
Imagine your job on set being horse painter.
Yeah. Horse painter.
You did mention the Hidden Fortress, and I think it's important for us to also talk about other things that Kurosawa has influenced. Was it Yojimbo that essentially influenced the entire Fistful of Dollar, the Dollar series?
That's the spaghetti western.
Yeah, the spaghetti westerns exist because of Kurosawa, essentially. Clint Eastwood is as big as he is, probably because of Kurosawa.
Yep, agreed. Rashomon, he had a period in the 1950s where it was just one great influential movie after another. And the one that started it was a movie called Rashomon. And it's one of those movies that you have now seen go through 100 other, however many movies of the multiple views of the same incident, right? So like The Usual Suspects is one of that's most easily quoted about, but that Rashomon, extremely influential. And at the end of his life, he made 2 really good sort of major studio almost movies, including one that's called Ron, which takes King Lear and puts it into medieval Japan. And that thing has influenced hundreds of filmmakers visually because of its color and it's the way it was shot. And so, yeah, all of those things are present in Seven Samurai. I mean, all of those things, even some of the plot stuff. This is a fabulous movie. I just want to, when it opened, I wrote it's in the top 5 movies of all time. I don't want to try to rank them, but it's up there for me and the very, very best.
I watched this movie for the first time about a month ago, and I immediately bought it on Blu-ray the second I finished watching the movie. And then I bought Ron, the movie you just mentioned. I bought that too. I haven't even watched it yet, but I know I'm going to like it because I liked Seven Samurai so much. I don't think I would hate anything from Kurosawa.
How many movies did he make, Kent?
Oh, a ton. He made, a lot of his movies have not been, don't get seen here because they're not in a like Americanized version. It hasn't been credited or whatever. So according to his IMDb, once I get through all the movies that he wrote, here we go.
Is it 30?
Director, 33.
33.
Okay.
33 movies. That's a lot of movies. He was cranking out one a year in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, first one was in 43. So, wow, in the heart of World War II. And then all the way through 1993. So 50 years.
Interestingly, there's a point. post-war, the occupation authorities, aka the U.S. and England and whatever, that had the occupation government as they were setting up the new Japanese government, discouraged samurai movies.
Really?
Because they thought people would identify with the samurai and the previous government and all of that. And so this movie was kind of the first of those samurai movies to come back out during that period. And it was almost a poke in the eye of those people, but it also didn't present the samurai as this lone hero going to go destroy the evil one, cliched samurai. It had this group thing, had a different tone, but it was the first one to come out in Japan. And it was a huge hit in Japan, not surprisingly.
Yeah, I'm happy you mentioned that, Ken, because one of the things that I was thinking about as I watched it and then thinking about it afterwards was the time period in which this is shot. So we're talking about within 10 years of World War II coming to an end. We've done a few Godzilla movies in the movie club. And of course, that came out also of World War II. The allegory is very obvious there. And so I was just thinking about the war and the influences that this would or wouldn't have had on really everybody that was involved in the project.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you say that. It made me think of this. It took them like 2 months to write the screenplay. Kurosawa and two other guys wrote it. And it was going to be The Lone Samurai was how Kurosawa started. Throw it away. This is like the third idea. And maybe that was influenced by the post-war era, right? What you were just saying. That may have had something to do with it. I had not thought of that before. I think you may be onto something there.
So what did you think, John?
Well, I mean, I've made it pretty clear, and it was interesting that the way it was released here initially was the 2.5 hour version, because that's literally what I wrote is you could have done this in about 2.5 hours. After the first half, I started kind of in my mind starting to keep track of scenes that I could have cut. I think I stopped counting at 14 in the second half of things that to me didn't feel like it was advancing the story very much. I think the story is very good, right? And obviously it influenced many other stories like it for many, many years to come. So I have no issue with the story. The overacting part, I mean, that's something you just put yourself, you got to remember what
it's like watching a movie with bad special effects now.
Precisely. So after that, it was just
more humorous than anything.
To me,
right?
The samurai were good. It was the townspeople that I was just like, these people are too. I was hoping that Godzilla would come and just stomp them all out at one point. But the samurai themselves, including I think, Nick, you said it, the Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's basically the leader of the group, was particularly good. So I had no issue with that. Couple of things. The music. Now, this is, again, a lot of this, it felt like more in the first half than in the second half. I enjoyed the second half after intermission more than I enjoyed the first half.
Mm-hmm.
There were times, especially in the first half of the movie, where it felt like whoever was in charge of the music just started playing something. Because there were times where the music didn't fit the mood of the scene. Like I said, it got better at the end, but there were times where I just thought some guy randomly is just cranking up the LP in the background, and it didn't fit. It got better at the end. Question, Kent. The first couple of deaths that we see of the samurai, and this is as they're being recruited, were done in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
Why was that?
Another Kurosawa innovation. I forgot to add that he was one of the first people to work in slow motion, and why he chose to do that, ask him. But
yeah, because
it does, I get what you're saying.
And then because I was kind of afraid that every battle scene it would be in slow motion. So it was kind of weird that they picked the first couple of deaths to be done in slow motion. And there's no gore in this, even though there's a lot of stabbing, obviously, and people getting sliced. They couldn't go that far. But it was weird to me that,
Well,
that
the
they
only
chose
one
that
I
style.
think of would be he was quite an experimental director in some ways, and he may have tried this and went, okay, that worked okay, and then they just didn't do it again while they made it. And who knows what order this was shot in?
Right.
Those could have been the last two things shot, right? Those could have been the last, and they just thought, well, let's try this, and it worked, and it ends up in the front of the movie, but it might have been shot towards the end of the movie.
You mentioned Lucas. Pretty much every transition was a swipe.
Yep.
And if you watch Star Wars, the Lucas Star Wars, not the more so was that just a direct kind of
absolutely. And I mean, I can name lifts. Han Solo is without question kind of a takeoff on the character that Toshiro Mifune, who's one of the great Japanese actors, played, the kind of drunken, somewhat funny guy, but he's really a hero at heart and all of that.
Okay.
That's Han Solo.
And then Ken, is that the patient zero for that kind of a character too, where it's like
absolutely
okay? Because I mean, like, how many times have we seen that? Because like when he shows up, the alarm bells go off of this guy's gonna, not I don't know if redeem is too strong of a term, but like he's gonna have a real big part to play towards the end of this movie.
And imagine seeing this in 1954. Then
sure,
you haven't seen a character like that. Not in this movie, but R2-D2 and C-3PO are a direct lift from two characters in the Hidden Fortress. And I mean, it's 100% direct. One's tall, one's short, one's I mean, it's a complete lift. He stole all kinds of characters from Kurosawa and a lot from this movie.
So you mentioned what's his name, Mifune? Kurosawa ends up doing a Tarantino with him, doesn't he? Where he's just kind of in all of his movies.
Oh yeah. He's probably in 6 or 7 movies in a row with him. Yeah,
nice. I love this movie. I really like this movie.
I wish now that I knew that there was the shorter version, and it's not just so much that it was the extra hour. I just think it would have flowed a lot better because, like I said, there were times where I could catch myself going, this scene's not really advancing anything. We don't need it. Because, like I said, it is a good story. It is, and I could tell there were things here that you probably didn't see in other film of its time. So I knew, even though not knowing a lot about this, that this was a very influential movie to people down the road. And certainly from a film study standpoint, it was very influential. So I appreciated it from that standpoint. It's just that there were times where it's just like, man, this scene's not advancing anything. Get it out. Get the hell out of here. And some of the other things, it wasn't, believe me, it does not reach the Hall of Fame of worst movies we've had in this segment. Those all belong to Stibbs.
And that one that I picked that one time.
And the one that John picked where the fishing guy.
Or the non-baseball movie.
That was so bad.
I do have one more question quick, Ken. So I mentioned this at the top where it felt like a modern movie, especially from a dialogue standpoint. Why was it? Because of some kind of decency laws or whatever, or something with U.S. filmmaking where it seems like the dialogue in this was more natural. It felt more real than with some things I've seen popular movies in the U.S. at the same time.
I would say there. Yeah, I'm not sure it had too much to do with the Hays Code, but it is much more. I think it had just to do with the three guys that wrote it. You had Kurosawa and one of the other guys sort of wrote it in a technical sense. And then the third guy came in and built up the character, worked on the dialogue, that kind of thing. And I think that gives it that modernist kind of sense, right? And I agree with you on the fact that it doesn't play. Some of that dialogue from the 50s in American movies just plays to the cliche over and over and over and over. You know what they're going to say midway through the conversation, right? This doesn't happen, and it seems way more natural is a good way to put it. Yeah, it is interesting to go in a slightly different direction. I looked, and this movie, I looked on all these lists of the greatest movies of all time, best films of all time, blah, 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 blah. And if it is on international films, there's a Sight and Sound in England kind of compiles the most authoritative of these lists. Number one on international films, or what they used to call foreign language films for English speakers. On all the other lists, I could find it no lower than 25th, most of them above 20th. And on one of the lists, and I can't remember what it was, but I was going to cite it, Kurosawa, it's a top 50 list. Kurosawa has 4 films on the list, 2 in the top 10, Rashomon and this. And I think that's an overall list, or I'm sorry, that's another foreign film list. And then an overall top 100 list, 4 films, 2 in the top 15, those 2 in the top 15. That's how good this movie is.
It's on HBO Max, 7 Samurai. We have a movie next week, which will be in time for the first football game of the season.
So I had one pick, and then I got a text from my wife on the way into the office today. Hey, the Cubs are coming back. And I got here, and I thought, you know what, this is a good idea, because there were some passings, Kent, that happened this week. Of course, one of the movies that she said we have done before, and John forgot about it, was Clue, because you weren't here for it.
I was not here for
was Clue. The other one was a Dolly Parton movie, and this song has probably been humming around in a lot of other people's heads this week. So we're going to go and watch 9 to 5, which I've never seen before, and it is available. It's in multiple spots. One of them I know is Amazon Prime. So I know for sure it is available on Amazon Prime. We talked about this movie, didn't we?
When she passed, I mentioned it, yes.
So we'll do 9 to 5 next week as we get ready for the football season.
Sounds good. I will recount, if you would like, a Marty Stewart story about Dolly from last night.
Yeah.
Two Marty Stewart stories. First one, he got hired by, he was a mandolin prodigy when he was a kid, and he got hired by Lester Flats and was playing the Grand Ole Opry when he's like 14 or 15. And Dolly was on there that night, and she walked up to him and said, "Hey, cutie, you need some makeup." And she put lipstick all over his face and walked off.
That's hilarious.
This one is even better. And he said he'd never told this story before in public, and I can understand why, and it makes it even funnier, I think. Country Music Hall of Fame is a big deal. They only induct 3 people a year, right? So it's a big deal. Well, Roger Miller got in, and so they have all these people come in and do songs by him and talk about how great he is, whatever. Well, the group for the songs were Dwight Yoakam, Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson, Marty, and Dolly. So Dolly shows up there. Those 4 are already there. Dolly shows up, and they run through the songs, and then she leaves, and they start talking about each other. And I don't think she'd left the building, but she went off the stage, and they start talking about her. And of course, I think Merle started talking about people look at some of her assets. I think Merle called it, and what they don't see is she's brilliant, how smart she is and whatever. And then Marty talked about she's like my sister. I've known her since I was 14, yada, yada, yada. And Yoakam talked about you want to be on the right side of her on a business deal, because Dolly didn't lose in business.
No.
And then they all look at old Willie, and Willie says, I wonder if she's got any rolling papers. And she did.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Kent. Her first like notoriety was she was on a Porter Wagoner show.
Absolutely. Yes.
So I read a story this week. She left the show and there was a contract dispute and he was not happy about her leaving. And so they kind of had a beef. Many years later down the road, Porter Wagoner sells his music rights because he needs the money.
Mm-hmm.
The person who bought the music rights was Dolly Parton. And Dolly gave him back his music rights.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. That's a completely true story. And the song I Will Always Love You, she wrote for Porter Wagoner.
Okay.
When she left the show, because she, that, and this, of course, becomes her huge smash, I mean, how much money she make off of that? Here's the other thing. Dolly Parton could have been a billionaire without any question, right? Had she wanted to. She gave away so much money to so many things. And all these stories are popping up now. Somebody said they needed $15,000 for some medical treatment, and they got a check out of the blue from Dolly Parton. Just stuff like that. She did the foundation where they gave 300 million books to kids around the world.
Crazy.
That stuff. And she gave, and I think that was $100 million she put in for that.
That's crazy.
Wow.
It's astounding. I guess the one thing I saw that's absolutely the truth, she was beloved by everybody, right? And so on the good old X this week, somebody found a tweet from the Democratic Socialists of America about Dolly, and the one that Trump put out, and put them up side to side and said, "This will never happen again."
Yeah, that's true. It's so true. Well, we'll have a lot more on Dolly next week. Also, Kent has to go into his week-long seance to bring back Evil Kent from the nether regions.
Let's go!
Because Evil Kent will be back for another season of Game Picks.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for reminding me.
And Kent, you next week will be our final guest to give the season prediction as well. You will be the last one of all of our regulars.
Oh, that'll be good too, because I'm so accurate with those things.
Well,
I don't believe I've ever come remotely close.
Unbelievable. All right. Well, Ken, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good.
There he is. Kent Wolgamott. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone.
third and final preseason game is tonight at Arrowhead Stadium as the Chiefs entertain the defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. There is some tension in the halls of One Arrowhead Drive as the cut down from 91 players to 53 will start soon after the game. The cut down deadline is this Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Time. Here's your checklist for tonight's game. Maybe the Chiefs can muster some big plays. The Chiefs' longest offensive play so far in the preseason is a 28-yard defensive pass interference penalty called on Tampa Bay last week. The Chiefs have only one preseason touchdown, and on the defensive side, Kansas City has 0 takeaways and only 3 sacks. One interesting note for tonight's game is that rookie quarterback Garrett Nussmeier will quarterback most, if not all, of the game tonight. Patrick Mahomes will warm up and not play. Chris Oladokun's in the concussion protocol, and Justin Fields will yield the floor to Nussmeier, who has been impressive in camp and also in the first 2 preseason games. There's other priorities as well. The offensive line is beaten up. There's still more questions than answers, and we're sitting on August the 28th. Wide receiver, will they keep 6 or 7? And if it's 6, who's the odd man out? Tight end behind Travis Kelce and Noah Gray is an interesting discussion. And on the defensive side, linebackers still in a state of flux. And in the defensive secondary, trying to find the right combinations. They're still being experimented with as L'Jarius Sneed starts to get on the field. All told, it would be nice to win tonight. Preseason games don't count unless you lose them all. And then there's some discussion about, what's wrong? Well, the Chiefs haven't won a preseason game since 2023. They've lost 8 straight. Finally, there's going to be cuts and trades and waiver claims. Crazy weekend. Know this, the 53-man roster Sunday night could change as early as Monday morning. In Kansas City, I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs.
And that's brought to you by Hy-Vee, proud grocery sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs. Meantime, there's one team already in the clubhouse with a perfect preseason record.
Classic John. He never stops bragging about the preseason. I'm happy you're going to get at least one good thing out of the season, John.
Oh, I'm going to get many good things, and it all started during the draft. Did you see this? Did you hear about this?
What, when you predicted that they wouldn't take him and then they did?
Watch this play by Ty Simpson.
Okay.
Last night. He had another
defensive end along with his special team stardom. Chargers bring the house. Simpson has to get away. Across his body, end zone, and is caught. Brennan Presley on the run for the touchdown.
Not bad.
Yeah, when you play
Whose
against
house?
vanilla timeshares, Nick, vanilla coverage, it's what the
vanilla
preseason
coverage,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the preseason. What are you talking about?
You're getting blitzed, and he has to roll out to his non-strong
What
side.
happened to the John Bishop that I loved that said none of this matters?
Are they piping in crowd noise, or are that many people that bored to go to a preseason?
It was a Chargers preseason.
Yeah, so actually you're making fun of the Chargers right now.
I mean, that's fine too. They took my coach. Other things are good.
What?
By the way, real quick, Simpson finished his preseason 47 of 60, 109.9 passer rating. Granted, a lot of shorter
1019 RIP.
No, 109.9 is what I
Oh,
said.
I don't know about that signal.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
did you hear what Clint Kubiak said after the Raiders preseason game last night?
Ooh, no, I didn't.
I'm dumb.
He said Fernando Mendoza needs another 3 preseason games.
Yikes.
To be ready.
There's been a lot of chatter about him not starting the season. And Brady, if there's anybody who's going to be like totally hands-on with any quarterback decision, it's going to be a Tom Brady. I mean, good luck with Kirk Cousins. They're not a team that's competing for a championship this year. So, hey, speaking of, the Raiders game is on our televisions right now. Or at least they're showing some highlights.
Yeah, highlights.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Like, I want to see him, but I do not think that I need to make a definitive statement. I think Fernando will be fine. I think he'll be good at best. I do not think he's going to be awesome.
I agree.
He is not. I thought he made some killer throws last year. But man,
Sure he did. But it's a different game in the NFL.
I feel like I just was kind of missing something. But admittedly, it was a weak draft class last year.
Do you see Mendoza as a starter anywhere or just a solid backup?
No, I mean, he'll definitely start for the Raiders.
He'll start at some point. I don't know if he'll start at the beginning of the season. I bet
he'll
go
start
with
this
Cousins.
season. Yeah, he'll start this season at some point in time. Nick, you were going to say something, but something was awesome.
Yeah.
What's awesome?
Free tickets that you could win to see comedian Mike Epps.
Oh, John loves that guy.
I've never seen him, I don't think.
Sunday,
yeah, I do.
September 5th
Yeah, I
at the
do.
Orpheum Theater.
Saturday, September 5th.
Saturday, September 5th at the Orpheum Theater.
Unless it's
That's
Sunday.
after Nebraska plays Ohio because they're
It
playing
is.
in the morning.
It's that because
famously.
I heard Mike Schaefer talking about how he's doing overreaction. He's like, could I stay away from my family all day and go to a concert? And he was like, I think I'd get in trouble. So he's not going to go. But what is his loss could be your gain.
So fill up the phone lines right now, 402-951-1620, and you can get tickets to see Mike Epps at the Orpheum. Great place for a show, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
I've seen many. I've seen Seinfeld there. I saw only half of Hall & Oates there.
I saw the Book of Mormon there. Had a great time
Yeah.
a handful of years ago. Yeah.
So get in now while supplies last, 402-951-1620. By the way,
7 of 14. Yikes.
Yeah, he
for
was not-
57 yards.
he was not good.
Yikes.
Speaking of quarterbacks, and then we'll go to break.
Yeah.
Did you see that Mike McCarthy of the Steelers might keep 4 quarterbacks on his roster?
What? So he'll have Aaron Rodgers.
He says he has never done this before, but he strongly hinted because he really likes the room. So you got Rodgers, Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, and Drew Aller.
And it's Aller that's making the push for the 4th?
Yep.
Okay. Those guys are not good enough to waste a roster spot. That's crazy, man.
Now he says he's hinting at it. I mean, people
There's
are
no
saying
way.
he's hinting at it.
You
but
can't do that. That's too many quarterbacks.
I agree.
You know,
especially with only 53
The Cowboys
spots.
are talking about maybe only having 2. You know, because on game days you get the designated third guy or whatever. So
Yeah.
like keeping 4, I think, is pretty ridiculous.
Keeping 4 does.
But
seem
you know what? I
extreme.
hope they do it. They should keep 10 quarterbacks on the roster. Who's stopping you, McCarthy? I hope they suck. I hate the Steelers. And I'll admit it's probably irrational because I barely ever have to deal with them, but I just cannot stand them.
And one more quick note.
Yeah.
Last night in the game that we were just seeing a moment ago.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm sorry. He played for the Chargers last night.
Oh,
Trey Lance.
Yeah. What did he do?
Has now played more preseason games than regular season games.
The 3rd overall pick at one point in time? Was that what he was?
It wasn't 3, but it was like 8, right?
I think he was 3rd.
No, I thought Frisco moved up to like, was it 3? Okay.
3 in 2021.
They traded 3 first-rounders to move up to get Trey Lance.
Not good.
That is another one of my takes that has aged
That-
very
yeah.
well.
And you know what, John?
Mocked the 49ers, and everyone's like, oh no, what a well-run organization. They never do anything stupid.
don't have a
like
weird
wreck
substation?
their driverless car or practice too close to a substation. And certainly their owner doesn't go and pick up hookers at a trailer park.
I hope that you are correct about your pre-draft feelings on Ty Simpson. I hope that those takes also age very well.
Oh, I'm very happy about Tyson.
Oh, interesting.
We'll be back on 1620 The Zone. Nick was overwhelmed with interest and could only get to a couple of our winners. So we still have more tickets.
Call right now, you're saying?
Yep.
402-951-1620.
Just be patient with Nick because, he's got to get all the information. And
gosh, back in my day, it was name and phone number. And then I said, bye. Nick is like social security number, credit card information.
Not social security or credit card information. Don't say that, Josh.
Mother's maiden name.
I don't need that stuff. I just need more than
grandmother's maiden name.
Because these are digital tickets, so I also need email addresses.
402-951-1620. Give Nick a reason to answer the phone.
Nice.
And you'll get some concert tickets for this week or 2 weekends from now. Next weekend. It's next Saturday.
John, next Saturday is September the 5th. That is when the football season for Nebraska begins. Famously, FBS football begins tomorrow.
Stay tuned because the first FBS game of the season, the Aer Lingus Classic, will have a special preview as we acknowledge the 1-year anniversary of one of the great father-son moments in the history of all sports. That'll be coming up during the happy hour, which is just moments away. But tonight, actually last night, high school season started.
And now it will really begin.
And tonight you get the battle of Millard North, Millard South. What was this game like 73 or 70-7 last year?
It was a butt
The
whooping.
Mustangs, the Fighting Athletic Tapes need a win tonight.
Was there anybody, you'll get this reference. Was there anybody last year on Millard South in the midst of this blowout that might have done a backflip on the sidelines only to see that thrown back in their faces tonight in a 19-0 win?
Oh, no.
I'm just wondering. Famously, Nebraska beat Arizona State by 1,000.
Yeah.
Lance Brown did a backflip.
Yeah.
Arizona State won next year.
Yeah.
19-0.
By the way,
somebody asked earlier in the text line, is this game on television tonight?
No.
It is not.
No.
Yeah, Jace Curtad, do you know how to watch the Millard South game on TV? That's crazy. It's not even on YouTube either. That's nuts.
Neither of these schools do their own feed because I ran
figure it
into
would be,
the
right? It has
West
to be
Side
somewhere.
I watched a little of the West Side Prep game yesterday. It was on YouTube. Maybe Millard South has to have a YouTube
You would
channel,
figure
don't they?
somebody is going to air this thing.
Or maybe it's available. What's that? Is it the National Federation of High School account or whatever?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Last year, the Millard South streamed it. They streamed it, and so
it might be on YouTube.
Yeah,
So have to look it up.
Keep an eye out for it.
But you're going to have. It's one of the rare times.
Okay, it is on YouTube for Chiefs Cast, Millard South channel. There you go.
There you go. Millard South channel on YouTube. Stu Pospisil did the research. First time since 87 that you have future Huskers versus future Huskers in a Nebraska high school football game. Trey Taylor and Tay Ellis for Millard South, and Matt Erickson and Torrey Pittman III for Millard North. First time since 87.
Did you read Chattel's column about the he talked to Fred Petito, and for the life of me, I can't remember the old Millard South coach, just about how this game kind of fits with a lot of the discussions that are being had in high school sports right now with all of the transfers. And of course, this game in a way is kind of, at least for me, is what I feel like an outside observer with this stuff.
Yeah.
It feels like a bit of a ground zero, in particular, of course, Trey Taylor, the biggest name that is going to be playing in this game, a 5-star quarterback. When's the last time our state had a 5-star quarterback? You're probably talking about Eric Crouch if he was even ranked.
Illinois has a 5-star.
No, John, he's going to graduate from a Millard school. So, but in all seriousness, like that, there's this level of intrigue to this where it is just
actually I take that back. He's a Lincoln product.
He is Lincoln,
the capital city. Ladies and gentlemen,
I don't know how that works. I don't know how that's legal, but it is, and it's pretty cool.
I don't either. And,
I'm happy that I'm not in the weeds on this stuff. It's not Thursday anymore.
Right.
But I'm really happy that I have zero opinion. And I know I probably should, right? I pay my taxes, so I assume that I should care, but I don't have children.
I'm not a fan from a purist standpoint.
You like the idea of playing for your neighborhood?
Yeah. I'm not a fan from a purist standpoint.
Yeah.
But that stuff died a long time ago.
Sure.
I mean, open transfers have been a controversy
in
for
Omaha
years.
North, so I graduated almost 20 years ago, and we bussed in kids from West Omaha because we had a great engineering school. And so I never, boundaries
Right.
or neighborhoods, like I had friends who lived, you know, out near where I live now, you know, that were going to Omaha North. I drive by these neighborhoods today. So I've never, like, it's never been something that bothered me, but I wasn't around when you were in high school, when I think it was much more neighborly, right? Where it was, this is where I live. And so this is where I go. Why would I go somewhere else?
Exactly.
You know, meanwhile, there's a young John Bishop probably in Fremont right now who's coming to Omaha for some reason.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. Again, from a purist standpoint, not a fan, but you know,
Theo says
that ship sailed many, many years ago.
NSAA execs all have lake houses. I'm going to send this to my friend who works for the NSAA.
By the way, we have a poll question. We're kind of warming up the poll questions for Pick Me a Winner, Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
Our lead bookmaker at the Unsportsmanlike Conduct Sportsbook and Casino in beautiful downtown Irvington has set the line at Millard South minus 10.5. Who do you like tonight? Millard South minus 10.5 or Millard North plus 10.5? 84% are saying screw the points. Take the Patriots.
Okay.
You can vote now on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. That game will be a part of prediction.
By the way, there was a caller who reached out to young Nick, not to give them their information to win a prize, but saying that there was a 5-star last year in this game. And they were talking about Jet Tamal. Jet Tamal was a 4-star. So not a 5-star. But he barely missed out. He was like a top 40.
Very close.
Top 40 player.
He was very, very close.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll take a break. We'll be back. And it is One Beer Friday. There's been some changes to the college football calendar. Not for this year. Not for this year. Also, some factoids about recent national champions. We have predictions coming up. This is the final of this round of predictions before a new season of predictions starts next week. Jack Mitchell and the Super Friends Roundtable.
We have so many fun things to get to.
And
Ka-chunk.
A preview of the Aer Lingus Classic from the only person qualified to do so, who is currently on parole.
Oh, I was going to say, so Scott Frost might have some takes, but I don't think he's on parole right now. He's got takes on the Aer Lingus Classic.
Are we sure?
I mean, he's coaching.
Yeah.
He's coaching.
We'll be back with a loaded happy hour next on a One Beer Friday, 1620 The Zone.
I drank beer with my friends. Sometimes I had too many beers. I liked beer. I still like beer. Had beers, have some beers. One beer, drink beer, drinks beer, drank beer, and drinking beer.
Upstairs, downstairs, where was it? I don't know, but I had one beer.
Friday!
We probably have Beer Center each week. Ralph Club, biggest contributor.
Beer. I like beer. I don't know if you like Beer Center or not. What do you like to drink?
Next
I had one beer. Friday. Yeehaw!
Hanging out and having some beers with friends, which I gladly do and which I fully embrace.
Well, you think it was... Nope, it was one beer. Friday.
Oh!
It's still summer where I live.
For one more day, John.
Technically for another month.
Yeah, I know. As always, the calendar is wrong, and I'm not following it. Spring starts.
Oh, anarchist Josh back at it again.
You know what's going on, John. Spring starts at the beginning of March. Summer starts at Memorial Day. Fall begins with Labor Day. So technically, it has another week. Christmas, or the winter starts December, after Thanksgiving. That's when winter starts. Those are the rules, and those are the rules I follow. It's so stupid.
Sounds like you just made it up on the fly.
No, I've had these in my mind for a long time. I've had them in my mind for a long, long time.
One Beer Friday. Nick has brought in the nectar of the gods. Very nectar of the gods.
Hashtag accountability. I forgot One Beer Friday. So when I ran to the CVS during the show earlier, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get the good stuff.
Nice get, Nick. Nice get, Nick.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you too can participate in One Beer Friday. Send us a pic of what you're drinking. Use the hashtag One Beer Friday and send it to us in the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Nebraska doesn't start till next week, but the FBS football season starts tomorrow at 11 a.m. with the long tradition of outsourcing our games to foreign countries.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it's Ireland. Nebraska's been here, the Aer Lingus Classic, and while there's been many great moments like the dumb onside kick,
God, what a moment.
We never thought we would see a greater moment in Aer Lingus Classic history than the mistimed, misexecuted onside kick that cost Nebraska their opener and pretty much put the nail in Scott Frost's coffin.
But not the final nail.
Sadly, no. There still needed to be another
I
nail.
had a few more nails after that one.
But then last year, we moved Farmageddon to Ireland.
Yep.
And it wasn't so much anything that happened on the field. It was something noteworthy that happened off the field. It was 1 year ago when we learned that Avery Johnson, the quarterback of Kansas State, had a family who liked to fight.
Remember, did we originally learn that his brother got in a fight or his dad? And
his
that
dad got into a fight.
And the story was like, and it was about him. And it's like, who is this jerk that was talking trash to Avery Johnson's dad about his son? We came to find out it was his brother. It was a family fight. I want to know a month or a year later, what was the argument? What was the discussion that these two men had?
I have no idea.
He was good. No, he was trash. No, he was good. No, he was trash.
So we think it is appropriate to give the best, most accurate preview of North Carolina TCU with the only people that could do it. The guys who introduced us to fighting in the streets of Ireland in a puddle of water.
This is Avery Johnson's dad.
Hi, this is Avery Johnson's brother.
And we're taking a break from Rageaholics Anonymous to bring you a special preview of the Aer Lingus Football Classic.
North Carolina versus TCU.
Shut up, you Nancy. You talk when I say you talk. Nah, the Aer Lingus Classic is a rough and tumble scrap. Only the strongest of the strong can survive it. This ain't for the light and the loafer skirt-wearing folk. It's like the last man standing in a 4-H parents' rumble after showing off your cow.
Ah, you really kicked that mom's arse that one time.
Aye, she was begging for it. Accused me of using growth hormones on me cows, and I smash your face into a puddle of water.
Oh, you sure made that hormone pop.
Ah, that's a good one, Sally. Now, speaking of cows udders, Bill Belichick brings North Carolina to the party to try to get the season off to a good start. He says he's got a lot of good players, but I think he's full of crap. I mean, how can you prance around a field wearing baby blue uniforms and looking all pretty and stuff? This is football, not the WNBA.
Dad, don't forget, we got tickets to the Fever game tonight.
Aye, I don't think they'll let us in after I lost me green dildo the other night. Anyways, I think the Tar Heels are a little light in the drawers in this game, especially against TCU.
That's right, Dad. TCU comes out of the Big 12, and they got the power of the Monster Energy.
Energy drinks? That's a load of crap. Back in my day, we bit the heads off of chickens, drank the blood, and used the beaks as mouth guards. That's if we still had any teeth.
Dad, those Monster Energies are pretty good, especially if you mix them with some vodka.
Mixed with vodka? What did I teach you about drinking, boy? Only those communist potato farmers from Russia drink that crap. Round here, we drink the corn whiskey, and the only mixer we use is goat's urine.
But Dad, it tastes pretty good, and it'll give you a good buzz.
I'll give you a buzz and a taste of your own bowels. Get your ass over here. Oh, no, not the water. Put it in the water.
So,
well, there we go.
Wow.
I did not.
The Aer Lingus Classic.
I did not listen to that preview before right now.
I'm happy that I didn't listen to it either. That's
Incredible.
A great breakdown of the game.
Yeah,
that's a great breakdown of the game.
Sure.
I wish that these guys
I
did a
feel
podcast
ready.
and they previewed a game every week. John.
I feel prepared.
I do too.
I feel like I'm ready to go for North Carolina and TCU.
What a game it will be.
That is still a great picture.
It's so funny.
It's an incredible
Those two on the
picture.
ground, and you could see.
water.
I'm assuming that's his. You think that's Avery Johnson's mom, the woman in the background? He's like got this horrified look, trying to pull these two apart.
Yeah. Some of the responses are coming in. Let's see. Mustache Adam. That was better than I could have imagined. Max
Chris says that was awful.
Yeah, Max says I didn't think that was ever going to end. David says, what the bleep? Levi in Colorado, someone's been working on their Irish accent for over a year or for a year.
Strigori, John might have a drug problem.
John, is that what's going on there?
Was this drug inspired? Did you have a little bit of the Beatles cabbage?
Ooh, Chris says Belichick proposing to Jordan after the game would kill this. That would be awesome. If he won and then he proposed to
Or what
Jordan,
if they got into a fight?
that would
after
be
the game?
Also, that would be
Also-
I don't want fist fight here because
No,
that's
I'm just
bad.
saying.
But like a yelly fight would be funny.
Yeah.
That would be hysterical.
Don't forget, whatever team loses at Aer Lingus over the last few years apparently has
Life goes to
massive bad
hell.
luck.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, the loser in this
loser of
game,
this game is screwed.
hell, even the winner of this game has struggled because you're going overseas. I'm happy, John, that my favorite football team isn't opening week 1 outside of America. I don't know how I would feel about that. I know that you probably feel that. We do play in Brazil though in week 3, so hopefully they travel
Listen,
back.
Yeah, but at least Australia's fun.
Yeah, John, at least
And
it's
we
fun.
get when we get an extra few days.
That's true. You're opening on a Thursday.
There was some changes made for next year. The FBS Oversight Committee.
And
Now,
one of them,
I'm sure at some point this will also be challenged in a court of law.
one of them affects literally this, what we are talking about right now. This is the final week 0 This is the last one.
I thought you were going to say this is the last Lingus.
The season will move up to week 0.
And there will be
week 0. So we can finally get rid of the stupid nomenclature of week 0
until they bring week 0 back in a few years.
How about this? No more waivers. So
Whoa.
this is done. This is the last year that they will do this. Everybody will play now.
Or at least could play. I guess, some teams chose not to, but I'm guessing they won't.
And so what this
does, why would you use your bye week?
So this doesn't automatically mean that every season will begin the week before Labor Day. What this means now is that every season has 14 weeks. And so as you just alluded to, everybody gets 2 idle weeks.
Yeah.
But there are some seasons, John, we saw this last year, right? Where you play the Labor Day weekend, which is at the end of August, and you still have 2 idle weeks. And so on a year like this, and next year will be very similar because Labor Day will be the 4th, everybody will open up this weekend and they will have a couple of weeks off. And so that's good. I'm happy that there's football tomorrow. I can't wait to watch it tomorrow. I also like that this will be week 1 next year. That's way better to me.
I don't like it.
You don't like what?
I like that opening weekend is Labor Day weekend.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
What they need to do is cinch things up on the back end of the schedule so that they're not playing so deep into the season, so that teams, the fact that, and I was reading, well, in fact, I think it was one of the Bill Connolly stories I read this week, but the fact that you have so many teams, playoff teams, still, that are sitting out 3 weeks. No other sport does this. No other sport has a team waiting 3 weeks between the end of its regular season and the start of its postseason.
Yeah.
You got to cinch all that crap up.
Yeah.
Right? I love the symmetry of Labor Day weekend being opening weekend because, and I do wonder if this will affect moving week 1 to week 0. I do wonder if this will affect the ability for teams to play on Labor Day weekend. Because
you're talking about the Thursday, Friday, Monday,
Sunday? If Labor Day becomes week 2, or Labor Day weekend becomes week 2, will teams be as willing to play
on a random day,
on that Sunday and on that Monday, given that it is the second week of the season?
It's a great question.
First week.
Let's see what happens next year. Honestly, it's a great call because that is one of the positives about the season opening on Labor Day is that
it's a long weekend.
It is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's 5 days of football, and you have marquee games.
But I don't know if you're going to get that next year if teams are playing a game the week. Everybody is playing a game the week before.
That's a great point.
You'll probably get a few. You might get a few, but you may not get some of the more marquee games.
Sure.
That we have been used to seeing on Sunday of Labor Day weekend and Monday night of Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We'll see.
That's a good point.
Some of the other things they changed as well. Spring practice can now be 2 OTA-like periods, 21 practices.
Do we know the time period? So this is my question. So you can do 21 practices. You can split it up. Is there dates that you need to get these practices in? Can you start on, let's just say, February 15th, but you have to have it done by May 1st? Like, that's the thing that I'm wanting to know about.
That I don't have an article to click into.
I asked Chris Vanini and because I know that you're reading his tweet about it earlier, and he didn't have any information about it. So I'm really curious to see what that looks like. It seems like they've been moving towards this for a while. This is more practices. This is 6 additional practices now. And
but now you can split them up and you can do 2 OTAs. So you could do, theoretically, you could do half of them in March, April, and
later
half
ones
of them
summer.
in June, July.
I wonder what this means. Like, will Nebraska do a spring game still and then have more practices on the back end? Would they have the spring game in the summer? Probably not because it's 1,000,000 degrees.
Get rid of the spring game.
Get rid of the spring game. Yeah, these are all very good questions.
And the January transfer portal window is down now to 10 days. Again, until a judge changes it or changes any of this. Who knows? But that's some of the news of the day. So saw a couple of different things. Bill Connolly wrote today about the future of first-time champions. Like the next team, because we've now had Indiana join the first-timers club. Who are some of the candidates for the next member of the first-timers club?
Oregon is the obvious pick for everybody. Who's the next obvious pick? I don't even know
Texas
anymore.
Tech.
They are now. That's a good point. I never would have considered them as recently as like 2 years ago. And now they would have to be in the conversation because of the amount of money that they spend. Long ago, like when I was growing up, other obvious picks were like Virginia Tech. They were one for a while, of course, in the heyday of the Frank Beamer era. Jed, shout out to you. I think West Virginia sometimes showed up on these lists, if I remember right. I don't think they have a national championship. North Carolina football, are they on this list?
Yeah, North Carolina's not won one.
Yep, because they have, money in theory to spend.
Oh, wait a minute. No.
Do they have a football title?
No, they don't. They don't.
I thought so.
Ole Miss was third on his list. Now, I know there's Ole Miss people that claim that there were titles back in the late 50s, early 60s, but they have never finished atop the polls.
Okay.
Number 4 on his list.
Which conference?
Big Ten.
Oh, is it Wisconsin?
Iowa. That's another team that claims that they have won a national title.
They do. Was it the...
It was the one
50s?
59, because LSU also claims that one.
And so does Ole Miss.
And Ole Miss does.
Yeah.
Missouri, number 5, though Missouri is now this weekend. In fact, they are formally acknowledging 1960 as the national champions.
I'm happy. One of the sneaky good things about Nebraska is they don't claim any of the goofy stuff. There's an argument that they could do because they have been crowned champs by multiple publications for other ones, and they don't claim them. They claim 5, and they claim the real ones, which I've always appreciated about them. Meanwhile, you have other schools claiming a bunch of garbage.
Rounding out Bill's list, number 6, Louisville. These are teams that would be next best candidates for the first national championship. 7, Utah. 8, Illinois. 9, SMU. 10, Wisconsin.
Yeah. Interesting list. I mean, it's so hard, right? Once you get beyond the first few, but then Indiana did what they did. And so after that, I really don't think I can have as strong as an opinion. Like Hokie Screw says, the words Iowa and Natty will never be in the same sentence. Like, I think I agree for the most part. Like, it'd be hard for me to imagine it. I never saw Indiana happening, though. And so maybe it could happen. The thing that I wanted to know about college football moving forward is what just happened with Indiana a one-off? Is it just a specific moment in time? Or are there things beyond Kurt Cignetti that could allow random teams to pop up and win titles in the years to come? My guess is no. My guess is we will look 20 years down the road, we'll say they won because they had a crazy coach. But it will not turn into the 80s where it was like BYU won and Miami won and all these random teams popped up. And like the 80s are crazy. You have a bunch of first-time or new national champions that you had never seen before. Clemson won one. Penn State won their first championship and then their second. Of course, I just mentioned Miami and BYU, where it's just like, what the hell? It's a strange decade. It'd be interesting if we were entering into another strange decade. We've had 4 consecutive champions of different teams. NBA is on a stretch of 8. Like, could we have a 5th different champion? If Notre Dame wins, if Texas wins, if Oregon wins, that would mean another consecutive year with a different team winning, which in the previous 15, or whatever it was, there was obviously Alabama won 6, LSU won multiple championships in that time frame. And so Clemson won multiple championships. And so we went through a large stretch where it was the same teams over and over.
Brett McMurphy with some factoids. I did not realize this. 19 of the past 22 years, the national champion was among the top 7 in the AP preseason poll.
Say that again.
19 of the last 22 national champions were ranked in the top 7 of the AP preseason poll.
So Indiana is one of them that wasn't.
So
Auburn.
Yeah.
Indiana wasn't in the preseason poll?
Not in the top 7.
The only teams to win the national championship after starting outside the top 7 were Auburn in 2010, Florida State in 2013, and Indiana last year.
Florida State had freshman quarterback.
But each of those champions featured the Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback: Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, Fernando Mendoza.
Great stat.
I remember Jameis Winston.
I do.
So either you're a top 7 team or you're outside the top 7, but you're Heisman quarterback. So your 7 teams are Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame, Texas, Indiana, or Miami.
Or somebody else who has a Heisman quarterback.
Who has a Heisman quarterback,
Nebraska.
like Anthony Calandria.
Iowa.
Nice. No, Nick.
What if this is the one?
No,
what if Hecklinski and Brown share the Heisman because they share the quarterback duties?
That sounds like a law firm.
A double Heisman. It's like a no-hitter, A joint no hitter.
Yes.
Okay. I'll meet you there.
Or like sharing a national title for some reason.
Well, that's what happened in the old days.
Those used to happen.
Yeah,
I know.
I miss those days.
I do not.
Why would you?
Because he's old.
Because back then.
Why would you not want something?
Because back
definitive?
then, judges weren't ruling on things all the time in college.
Honestly,
sports.
we're good that they weren't. They would have given it to Michigan.
What would
Lee
you rather
Barfnack would
Would
have.
you rather have a playoff and judges constantly ruling on stuff, or no more judges ruling on stuff and we just vote on the champion?
Well,
I'm almost leaning towards the latter.
Judges rule on other stuff too, not just.
I understand it,
sports
but I'm
stuff.
talking about college football.
Okay.
Where it seems like we spend the entire offseason talking about the stuff that's happening in a courtroom versus anything else. Well, coming up next, we'll do a round of predictions, then the Super Friends Roundtable here on 1620 The Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for predictions.
Over, bet the over. Vikings in the over.
All right, as promised, Millard North, Millard South, our official bookmaker at the Unsportsmanlike Conduct Sportsbook and Casino in beautiful downtown Irvington, has Millard North plus 10.5.
South. Oh, wait, North.
I'm going to take South. Falcons are a 4-point favorite at Miami tonight in the final preseason game of the year.
The Dolphins, this doesn't matter, but they're benching most of their main starters, so I'm going to take the Falcons.
Well, the Falcons suck. I'm going with the Dolphins.
But what if Tua plays?
That would be good for the Dolphins.
I'm going to take the Dolphins.
He's terrible, Nick. He is
bad.
so bad.
You think he's going to make the final cut?
Yes.
The Aer Lingus Classic. North Carolina plus 8.5 versus TCU. I'm going to go with the Fighting Belichick.
I know you are. Of course you are. TCU late cover. Late cover.
I liked TCU up until that weird media stuff that happened this week, so I'm just going to go against them all the time now.
Wow.
Go Bill Belichick.
Wow.
Ugh, I hated that.
Jaden Mayava passing yards against Roast Beef State tomorrow.
Why is college football this early in predictions? This is the main event, you jerk. Under.
Over. North Carolina State plus 4.5 at Virginia.
Nick?
Virginia.
The college football Illuminati loves NC State. I will follow them into the abyss. The wrong team is favored. Give me the Wolfpack. How?
How'd that go again?
How?
You're a terrible wolf.
How?
I will also go with NC State.
Nice.
Memphis plus 4.5 at UNLV. No longer with Anthony Calandria. They will celebrate by not turning the ball over and winning.
I stand with John. Give me UNLV, the running Rebels.
I'm going to take Memphis because what if Anthony Calandria was the best player they had?
Hawaii is a 4-point dog at Stanford.
I like Hawaii more than Stanford, just as a place.
Oh, not liking the libs. Very good, Nick.
I think there's libs in Hawaii.
Yeah, it's a blue state.
Hawaii feels pretty libby.
This is lib on lib crime, John. I'm going with the trees.
Well, that happens all the time. Stanford.
Going with the trees.
Royals at Guardians, best of 3. Give me the Royals, 2-1.
They're doing the late stage thing they always do. Win and get everybody excited. Royals in a sweep.
Guardians 2-1.
Padres at the Rays. Playoff teams more than likely. Rays are the home team.
Wow, Padres versus Rays.
Mm-hmm.
Conspiracy?
Rays 2-1.
Same.
Padres 2-1.
Red Sox at Yankees.
Oh, a classic rivalry.
Yankee sweep. Easy.
Whoa. Really?
I love my
Boston swept the Yankees last time they played.
Sox 2-1.
Boston 2-1. Pirates at Cardinals, best of 3. Give me the Pirates 2-1.
Cards 2-1.
Pirates 2-1.
The best soccer in the world.
There's a drive. Way back. It might be. It could be. And
La Liga.
La Liga. That's Spanish for the Liga.
La Liga.
We have new teams.
Racing Santander versus Ike.
I like Ike.
I'm going Ike.
Racing Santander.
And our main event.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Qualifying for the Coke 400.
Practice. We're watching practice instead of football.
Qualifying. It's not
qualifying.
practice. That's different, Josh.
Pick 3 cumulative finish. So the combined finish, low score wins.
Briscoe, Reddit, Reddick, and Gibbs. Nick, you read stuff wrong all the time.
Give me SVG. Give me Ryan Blaney and Connor Zilch. Why not?
I'll go with Dubba.
Wow.
Kez. and Hamlin.
Real quick before we go to break and talk to Jack, Chris says, I wish there was content today. This fake 49ers player had me dying laughing today. It's a bummer that we're not talking about that story. Maybe we'll do it next week.
We'll be back. 1620 The Zone.
Local with the issues that matter to the capital city.
Super Friends time. Jack Mitchell joins us from our former cousin station.
Yes,
in-law station.
What happens when you have a divorce from your sister, or you get adopted
adopted. Yeah, maybe you were readopted.
Call someone in Arkansas. I'm sure there's a family attorney in Arkansas that could probably explain.
Maybe it's like when you not to get too dark, but it's when you have your legal guardian if your parents are no longer around, that kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. That is dark.
So you're still siblings then?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's good. So you're still my brother.
Still.
Awesome.
Hi, brother.
Hey, brother.
Brothers don't shake hands. Brothers got a hug.
God. Jack, you'll be hugging some people in the next week because football will be back.
Just on the streets, you can just come up to anyone in Lincoln and just go in for the hug, and they know it's because it's football week. That's generally what I found to be.
Start doing that. You should start giving people football hugs. I think that should be homework for all of our listeners on our station.
Tackling?
No, hugging. Like
football hugs or tackling.
No, go up and say, "Hey, it's football. It's back," and then give them a hug, and they'll say, "Yeah, football."
Then they'll probably be all mopey and said, but they're still not going to win any games this year.
No, that's you, John.
I want to hug.
I want to hug
excited
people.
Husker fans.
You know what we need to do next Friday is do like an Impractical Jokers thing and send John out in the old market, right, with the earpiece, and then you go up, tell him what to say to hug, giving people football hugs, and just see how the man and the woman on the street react to that.
Nick is taking notes on this idea right now. I can see him. He loves
it. Watch that show. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I know the show. I've never seen it though. It sounds great.
I mean, it's basically a ripoff of Candid Camera and what was it?
It's very funny.
Dude, where's my car?
What was the show that what's his name did?
Punked.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of those gag shows, over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like every generation has one of those gag shows.
Jack, I have a question for you.
Question.
Because if I asked you, who do you want to be good on the football team this year? The answer is, I don't know, Calandry or something. That's a boring question.
I want everyone. The answer is everyone.
Right. Wilson.
So let me ask it this way. Which non-starter are you most hoping has a good season? And it could be for a variety of reasons. The position they're playing, the need that the team has, or maybe you just like them and you're rooting for them as a
starter.
Yes. So because basically what I'm trying to find is a non-obvious player that Jack is like, man, I just wish he would have a good season. And again, it could be for a variety of reasons. Maybe you just like him. But is there a player you're hoping has a nice 2026? I could give some candidates if you'd like a little bit of help here.
No, I think I can. That's a good one. Honestly, that's a great answer. That's probably who I would go with. It wasn't who I was going to go with, but I feel like I genuinely, I feel bad for him. I really don't want that to end without seeing him, get closer to that potential that I know that he's got. So, man,
it might finally end a streak of tight ends underachieving at Nebraska.
Yeah, seriously.
Or being underutilized. Maybe underachieving is a little harsh, but being underutilized.
I was going to go a different route as I thought about this very quickly. I was going to say this is not so much someone who hasn't had their chance or the opportunity that we thought they would, like Nelson has. This is more of a backup that's doing a prove it season. What if Cade Petchak really keeps it, really takes a step, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, you got a real, we'll call him a rush end like we used to in the 90s.
Hell yeah.
We got a rush it. We got a 90s type rush end here with this guy. I think
that's not a bad choice.
Being that he's a sophomore and because it feels like that position you don't know. I think that'd be exciting. He was kind of took that by the horns.
Man, I guess Leonard's going to be the starter, right? I was going to say, is Cam Leonard kind of the Carter Nelson of the defense? A guy who's not that Nelson's been around as long as Leonard, but a guy like him.
But yeah, I think
I thought he was a starter, but I guess that's probably it's hard to tell at that position a little bit.
This one was kind of thinking outside the box. What if the answer was TJ Lateef?
Oh wow, that is outside the box.
How often
does the
backup quarterback be the answer to the question? Now it would probably require Calandry to be hurt.
Yes.
right? But then he comes in and
Or
plays
he
well.
sucks and is benched. So either way, it's a bad scenario.
Yeah, I don't want that. Something bad has to happen there.
It's a bad scenario for the starter, but would it be a good scenario for the team? Because usually, if your backup quarterback has to come in and plays well, it's like a Kurt Warner like situation.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm trying to think bigger picture or little galaxy brain here.
Okay.
But
thinking outside the box.
I've got my real answer now. Now that I had more time to think of it, this is the answer. Carter Nelson was 1A. Willis McGahee.
Ooh, gosh, he's a player we talked about a lot last year.
He's a guy that might be fourth on the depth chart.
1 year ago, how much were we talking about him?
A lot.
Yeah.
Because he had a strong finish to the 2024 season, right?
Plus, I love that, Willis
Did you
McGahee.
see highlights of his dad? How fun would that be? That'd be a good time.
I love the fact that Miami legacy is at Nebraska so much. This has to work. We need to make this work.
Speaking of his dad, he plays the position that I would like to bring up. I think Carter Nelson is probably my answer. But what about Jamal Rule?
Yeah.
Jamal Rule, a good second running back, and maybe he eventually becomes a starter. I think that would be really nice.
It almost feels like a foregone conclusion, doesn't it? The way that people are talking. And I know that there's been a lot of secrecy as far as who's actually going to start.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like just about everyone who has seen practice or has covered practice has said that he probably won't start the season, but he'll eventually be starting this year. And that's Jamal Rule.
I was going to say it. That happened in Tunnel Talk today. They were saying those types of things.
Right. It's almost like it's a foregone conclusion that, it may not be him at the beginning of the season, but by the end of the season, Jamal Rule's a starting running back.
Yeah.
That's not a deep of a, because I just assume that's gonna kind of that
He
he's
doesn't count.
well. Here would be the one in the running back room. What if Quentin Ives got back into the
dude? We never even talk about him anymore.
That means
Jack.
Nebraska's scoring touchdowns from the 1 yard line.
Yeah, seriously,
or
Jack,
converting
we talk about
downs
3 guys in the running back room now, and he never comes out.
Think of the end of 2024. I mean, there was a kind of some excitement about him coming into 2025 and what he might be able to do.
What if he becomes the Zigbu of 2026?
Where he just kind of breaks out?
Where you don't think of him at the beginning of the season, but then he, gets his opportunity and never lets go. That's a good answer.
Yeah, that'd be really a big surprise.
The other thing,
I think Carter Nelson is like the answer, because it's not just, hey, finally a tight end is making some hay.
Bit of sentimentality to it.
Well, it's not
injuries.
It's not even the sentimentality, but
where he's from.
He's
what he represents,
and he would be one of those 4-star guys that Nebraska could homegrown 4-star guy
that they beat Georgia out for.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think symbolically it would mean something as well, as much as it does statistically.
I got one more feel good one.
Okay.
Mac Markway.
That is a good one because of what he's overcome.
Yeah. And I still love the story that didn't he just go to didn't contact her or anything, just showed up and can I enroll here? I'm probably taking some liberties with the story, but I don't know. I thought it was an LSU transfer. You're like, oh wow, this could be very cool. And then injured right away, stays here. Injured again, stays here. I really pull for guys now, especially who stay here when they the typical script would be to leave. And so the same thing is true of Willis McGahee. The same thing is true of who you met, TJ Lateef, right? The same thing is true of him. Mm-hmm. These are the guys that I would love, and there's probably more that you could think of here on this list. But these are the guys that I would love to see. How about Grant Bricks?
Oh, wow.
That would be another symbolic one now.
That would be a stunner.
Yeah, and it would probably require, one of the top guys to go down. But, I mean, again, you're looking symbolically for what they represent, development of talent, local product, local.
He would definitely represent that.
Before this week, I would have said Gatula, but I think he's going to be a starter now.
I was going to say, there was a comment, Jack, from one of our listeners, Crecky, a few minutes ago, who said Gunner, and sadly, he does not fit this exercise.
No, he does not.
Not sadly, it happened.
Yeah. But
we won that one.
He is the right tackle.
I made a declarative statement yesterday to Josh, and I'm curious if you will handshake meme and join me in this effort. Based on, in an off season that has featured very little talking and very little hype, one thing that we have heard consistently through this month has been the offense. It's been, Calandrius picking things up. He's a playmaker. He's a gunslinger. We've installed more of our offense. Dana's going to have more freedom. The running back room is the best that they've had in 4 years. The offensive line is experienced, and they've got great coaching now. I am now of the opinion that I am going to be preparing myself to be wowed by this offense in September. What do you think? And I'm not saying they're going to be the scoring explosion, but I'm saying they're going to put up some numbers and they're going to put up some points. People are going to go, wow, they're pretty darn good.
Here's the thing. No matter how good they are, I think they're going to put up some numbers in September because of their schedule.
Yes. But I'm kind of expecting to be wowed by this offense, something that you're really not able to say in a while.
Yeah, I think, guys, I think I maybe was saying this all summer. If you were listening, all summer I said, when this offense gets out of bed, because it is going to be so much more dynamic just in terms of its schematic options, that alone is going to give them, it's going to look and feel completely different. And I know yours is probably built more on that, more than on that. But yeah, like I expect it. I still think people are going to forget how nice it was to have a quarterback that can run and a quarterback that will take deep chances downfield and have some success. It's like the fan base kind of got lulled to sleep about those being things you can do and things you need to do.
You're allowed to do
you see it. I think it will feel like that, John. I think you're right.
I'm expecting them to, and you're right. The schedule does allow for it. But one of those things where, think about it. Go back to 2010. And I know it was mainly one guy.
Yeah, he wowed us.
But because of the one guy, it lifted, the rising tide lifted all boats.
Yeah,
right?
First carry he had of his career was a touchdown.
That offense looked pretty dynamic.
Yeah.
That it could feel like by the end of September, we're like, man, this is a really good offense. Now, that team got slowed down when he slowed down because the injuries, the ankle injury. But, man, they were trending in a great direction, and still, even though he wasn't himself, that was the year where Halou had, the record-setting running game against Missouri.
Rex Burkhead was on the team.
So it wasn't just about Martinez, but I'm kind of thinking in that ballpark of, man, this team, and it goes back to what you were saying, Jack. People are going to be, they're just going to be naturally excited because, oh, look, a quarterback who can, escape the pocket, a quarterback that can keep plays alive. Now, some of this too will come with taking more chances, maybe some more turnovers. We'll see. But yeah, I just in a year that has been so quiet, especially compared to last year, that's one area where the coaches and some of the players that have spoken have not been shy in saying how confident they are in Calandria and how good the talent is in the running back room. And, the receivers look great. Clark's going to probably play a lot this year. I just feel like I'm preparing myself to be wowed by this offense.
Let me ask you guys this. Would you rather have heard this fall camp that, because you're right, John, it seems like the message has gotten out that the offense has looked really good. Would you rather hear that about the offense or about the defense during this camp?
I think that I would have rather heard it about the
offense for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only because if we would have heard some of the stuff coming out of camp about the defense, the negativity would have been like, oh God, did they get the wrong quarterback? Is this running back really a disaster? What about the offensive line? And that's not to say that defense doesn't matter. And I'm usually a defense first guy, but because there were so many questions offensively, about quarterback, about the running back room, the constant disappointment we seemingly always have about the wide receivers. I think hearing what we're hearing this offseason or this month is better from an offensive perspective than a defensive perspective.
Let me offer just a devil's advocate, and that is I think the offensive line is going to be better this year. And so if we heard that the defensive line was performing well against them, I think that would actually make me feel good. I can't say that definitively, right? Because then it'd be like, oh, wait, but is the offensive line not very good? Yeah.
Exactly.
But
because
I'm definitely concerned about the defense.
Sip was on with us earlier this week, Jack, and I asked him the question, if you could get in front of the masses and preach patience about one thing, just say, hey, you got to have patience about this thing this season. And his answer was Rob Orridge. Because you know how it is, if a coordinator or if a unit starts slow, it goes. And we kind of expect that the defense is going to be, because last year didn't end great. And there was concerns about the defensive line. There are concerns about the defensive line this year. And so, that the idea of, hey, just have a little patience, I think it kind of fits, with the whole idea of, I think you want to have that offense be electric. Because let's face it, this was an off season of so much blasé and so much malaise and people maybe checking out. The fastest thing to get people to check back in on a football team is when your offense is clicking. Even if the defense is a little behind. If the offense is clicking, it's like, whoa. There's just a natural excitement that comes with that.
Yeah. No, I that's why I feel that way too. Basically what you explained. But Josh, you make a good point, but it was interesting you said that's how Sybil answered that question, because that's exactly what I was thinking. Is they're putting in a brand new system, right? They've got a new system. There's obviously a lot of new personnel on both sides of the ball, but I would expect that it would take longer for the defense to kind of come into their own, especially because of those reasons.
Jack, I want to ask you a volleyball question real quick, because they're about to, officially start the season this weekend after playing a couple matches last night down in Dallas. And then it's a group that has mostly been together now over the last, this will be year 4, right? It kind of starts with the Memorial Stadium match in 2023, and they got to the final that year. The next year they got to the Final Four. Last year they didn't even make the Final Four. We think this will be the last hurrah. With the 5-for-5, I guess you never really know what could happen with some of these players. But I wonder what kind of pressure you think this team has when you compare it to some of the pressure on those great Husker football teams in your lifetime of, man, if they don't do it now, when? Because it's a very particular season, I think. And obviously, I think you understand kind of what I'm asking.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously volleyball is as popular as it is here. It's still in a different place from the attention that the sport gets. But relative to the sport, I mean, you could argue it's more than and I mean, think of the seasons where Nebraska football had the most pressure on it. 94. But I mean, did it feel that way going into, like, was Nebraska sort of crowned? Not that Nebraska volleyball has been crowned number 1, but it's just the Nebraska football hadn't quite arrived yet in 1994. It feels like Nebraska volleyball has arrived despite not winning a national championship. They're in a different place with reference to the sport than football was like in 1994, I think.
I think there's a lot. I mean, all things being relative, I think there's a lot more pressure on volleyball because they've been arguably the most talented program the last 3-4 years and don't have anything to show for it.
I agree with both of you
guys. Whereas the 94 than a football
I think
team.
it was more internal pressure.
It was more revenge.
Yeah.
Because and it's not, I mean,
unfinished business.
It's not like Nebraska got hosed by a call or anything. There wasn't an illegal block in the back that, came out of nowhere. By the way, I watched some of that game over the weekend, and I stopped after the field goal went through. I was like, "Oh, game's over. Nebraska won.
They won another natty."
But no, it was different because that felt like, okay, they're so motivated. Not that they're not motivated this year for volleyball, but it almost feels like you miss a massive opportunity if this group doesn't win it this year.
Do you know what Nebraska was ranked in preseason 1994?
I actually just looked it up, so John will have to answer this.
I think they were like 5th or 6th.
4th.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they got to number 1 after they beat West Virginia. So they immediately were number 1.
Right.
Which I did not remember.
8 teams got first place votes that year.
Wow.
Wow, I missed those days.
Because even though Nebraska, earned a lot of respect on that field against Florida State, there were still doubters that, but was it just one?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Nebraska volleyball opened up number 1 again. They were number 1, last year.
That's the difference is they feel, it's a weird thing to say for a program with all the success lately, but they feel like they've underachieved to a degree.
Absolutely.
This talented of a team with all these great players and that they don't have a natty yet. And that last year they didn't even make it to the Final Four.
I don't think there's any question.
And so that's what I love that stuff though. I think it makes this season so interesting is that every match is like, if they lose or if they drop a set, it's like, oh my gosh, what's going on with them? Is everything okay?
Mm-hmm.
But we're all looking to November or December rather. It's just what happens when December arrives.
But I do wonder if they do need to, and they're going to be doing a lot of traveling. They're going to really stress things out. I do wonder if they need a little more adversity in September and if that wouldn't help them in December.
Yeah.
It feels like it couldn't hurt. It was interesting. I was listening this summer to an interview that the Volleyball State podcast did with Danny Busboom Kelly, and she basically referenced how they would, I'm sure, she would go to events and talk to boosters and all of those things, and she would occasionally have people say something like, "Well, do you feel like I'm not these are not exact quotes, but basically inferring to some degree that the prior year was a disappointing season, right? Of course, because they didn't win the national championship. And she was like, well, we lost 4 sets or whatever it was during the year. Like, we didn't necessarily look at it that way. And that was her first year of being a coach at Nebraska. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of that expectation. But man, wouldn't it be if they can do it this year, man, that's about as you just kind of need it to complete the storybook, right?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Now you set it up, Josh, with starting in the stadium and I mean it's kind of like a movie script moment here if they can do it. That in itself, how incomplete is that movie script going to feel? If that's not how this ends and that's how the career ends.
Yeah, that night it almost felt destined, right? And they get to the final that year, and then Texas, they swept them, didn't they?
Oh,
and it was just like, what on earth? Like that, it was crazy.
It was that second game that
just went sideways. And then they've gotten eliminated one round earlier every time. They were up on Penn State. It felt like, okay, here we go. They're about to play Louisville, oddly enough. So should be an interesting season.
As Wood Africa points out in our YouTube chat, finishing the story like Cody Rhodes, right, Nick?
All right. It's time to move on.
All right. What do we got? About less than a minute left.
Yeah.
Jack, with the start of college football, which means we get more Fansville commercials, thumbs up or thumbs down on Fansville?
This is a great question. I've had this debate. I will say thumbs up on the Fansville commercials.
Agreed. Did you see the latest one with Lane Kiffin?
No, is that true?
There's a 15-second version with Lane Kiffin. You need to Google it.
I have said several times, like, man, wasn't the Dr. Pepper, the ice cold Dr. Pepper guy, the thing they did before that, and people thought that was good. And the guy from Nebraska or something.
Yep.
I could not have been a nice guy. I'm sure. I did not think that concept was so tired, and I was so excited to see it.
Bye, Jack.
Bye. Have a good one.
There we go. Next
made
week,
it.
Jack will be at 250
Yes.
during the football season.
The football season, which is now here. You never said the word, so I'll say them. Have a great football Friday, everybody. It's a football Friday. There's football tonight. There's football tomorrow.
Good luck to your
There's
favorite
football
high
right now.
school.
Bye-bye.